pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Okay, first of all, I want to apologize for Jason and Joe not being here on the roll call. I forgot to erase it from last month. Mr. Little.
Here.
Mr. Heaton. Mrs. Helbig.
Here.
Mr. Bob Tate.
Hello.
Mr. Seibert.
Here.
Mr. Jake Tate.
Here.
Mr. Jason Heaton.
Here.
Mayor Coffey.
Lisa, here.
Okay, all present today.
Good. We need approval of last month's minutes.
I'll make the motion.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Pat, thank you very much for sending that out to
You're
us
welcome.
earlier. It's nice to be refreshed of what's happened last month.
Yes. I apologize for the computer disaster at my house this morning, and thank you, Jason, for fixing it for me.
I didn't even know anything happened.
Okay.
Okay, we don't need a motion to approve we just got that. Officer reports.
Okay. There were 8 incidents answered by the Beaver Falls Police Department in the month of August. Other than the traffic citations, everything has been closed and cleared. And the financial report, we spent $23,387.30 on bills, $10,749.01 on salaries, for a grand total of $34,136.31. We had deposits and interest in the amount of $37,877.46 for a balance as of 8/31 in the general fund, $541,258.15. The balances of the other accounts, liquid fuels has a balance of $131,658.16. The Pliget investment account, $3,901.42. The capital purchase fund, $1,747.09. The water and sewer fund, $171,274.07. And emergency management, $12,221.42. That is the extent of the officer's report.
Thank you, Pat. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Anybody? Okay, we need a motion to approve the agenda then.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We have to approve your reports too, right, Pat?
We don't have.
No, we don't have to do that anymore. That's, okay. The correspondence.
Okay, we did not receive any correspondence this month, but I am going to reread the letter from Senator Vogel asking all municipalities for support for Senate Bill 525, the Right to Know law. Please allow this letter to express our full and emphatic support. This is what he has asked us to write, of Senate Bill 525, sponsored by Senator Chris Dush in Cameron County. As you may know, Senate Bill 525 would create a new process by which agencies may petition the Office of Open Records for relief from a vexatious requester. There can be no doubt that the Right to Know law serves the noble and important function within our system of government. However, there is also no doubt that as currently enacted, the right to know law is routinely being abused to the detriment of municipal workers and at the cost of the taxpayers. It is important to note that Senate Bill 525 would not affect any legitimate records request. Rather, the proposed legislation merely creates a process by which a government agency can seek relief from harassing and vexatious requesters. So that is the gist of the request for the right to know law bill. And I would ask that after the citizens' comments this evening, if there are any regarding that particular bill, that we would be permitted to make a motion and vote to support the Right to Know Act law. And there is no other correspondence other than if there are any questions regarding the overweight vehicles from last month. Everyone was asked to look things over and make any comments if they had them for this evening.
Do we want to talk about that, anybody at the table, or we just,
Yeah, that was
I thought
just,
we covered it last month.
yeah,
because
just double checking.
we need a motion to go to citizens?
I make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Opposed? All right. So, citizens, whoever came in first.
Okay, Renata and Candace have to go back to work at the Corner Tavern, so we're gonna let them speak first.
Okay. Ladies.
Oh, no, I just need to set that there. Hi, thanks for having us.
Okay, I need name
oh,
and
oh.
address, please.
Candace France.
Okay.
You need personal or you need the corner?
Is it regarding the corner?
Yes.
Okay, let's just have that address.
214?
214, what, West Second
Yes. Sorry.
Third.
or West Third?
West 3rd.
Okay,
I just work there, I don't really know.
okay,
There's multiple addresses. So I'm like, whoa.
okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So we're doing a fundraiser for the Bogacki Aloy family who lost a father, 2 kids, and the daughter is going through a lot of surgeries and a lot of recovery. So we were doing an outdoor event where we're looking to hopefully be able to close part of our road down so we have the room for all of our customers and the supporters. We're hoping to have at least 100 to 150 people. There's been a lot of tickets sold, and there's been a lot of people saying that they're coming day of. What everything includes is we're gonna have inside in our dining room, Chinese auction. Right now we're up to almost 50 baskets. 50-50 silent auction. The big snow company, they do big snow cones. They're coming and giving proceeds to the family as well. We have a couple vendors that are going to do the same. Little cornhole tournament, and then we do have live entertainment. So we have a country singer 2 to 4. We have a DJ inside and out, and we have another band 6 to 8. So one of my concerns is parking. So this is why we want to have that down in our parking lot, because there's a lot more parking up in our back parking lot, where we were initially gonna do it. Also is, with this amount of people, where are they all gonna park? And one of my concerns, and I'm not sure who I spoke to at the fire department, but is to have somebody or some lights or something where when people are crossing, we all know how people go up and down that road. I'm just afraid, somebody may get hit crossing it. So I don't know if that would be possible to have just like a caution sign or something, just so people or drivers know that people are gonna be crossing there.
What do you want to close down, just like the first section to the alley?
Yes, from right when you pull in, right where that telephone pole is, to the other side, to where you go park up.
Right.
So
I
the
don't see
alley
a
would
problem
be.
with that. Does anybody else?
The alley would be.
I don't have a problem with that.
Good.
When is this gonna happen?
This Sunday. It's
This Sunday.
2
Quick.
Wow.
It is from 2 to 8 p.m.
And did the fire department get back to you about
I didn't
the
hear
parking?
anything.
Who did
No.
you notify?
Who'd you talk to?
Who
Fire
did you
marshal?
notify?
There was a gentleman that was coming around getting names.
Petition.
Okay,
Petition.
that'd be my, okay, I didn't know nothing about it. What's the time, Sunday?
2 to 8.
Yeah, we want some people down there
I
and
appreciate
work with
that.
you, whatever you need.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Would you like to tell us what you're serving? that
So
everybody
yes,
knows?
the most exciting
You
part.
having your wings?
No, we're doing a seafood boil.
Oh.
Yes, so we have crab legs, we have shrimp, we have clams, we have what's that? Crawfish, sausage, potatoes, the whole 9 yards. And for those that don't like that, we're doing burgers, hot dogs, and French fries. So, and we have plenty tickets.
You don't have to cook Sunday.
There you go. Yeah,
You still have tickets available? and
we
where
have
can they get
many.
them?
We have a lot available for. Because people want to come the day of and get it, and I've had so many
Yeah.
calls today wondering.
How much
know.
are the tickets?
Seafood boils 40, and this money goes towards to the family, and the burgers, hot dogs 20. And I can leave a flyer with you as well.
And did you have any questions for the chief who's here? We're not, I know
Do
you know
you?
Chief Johnson.
Hi, Chief Johnson. Yeah, I wasn't sure if there would be any police presence, just driving around, driving through.
With the regular patrols.
Perfect.
Would be in the area.
And I did discuss with her about the outside.
If you talk to A1 Automotive or anything about
Yeah, I mean,
using
that's
their
not
lot
really
for parking or anything
I
like
did
that.
not. I was hoping that people. Probably tomorrow they come and get food in the morning. The owner does. So if not, I'll give them a call and see if
Good,
he'd
that's
be
it.
So you
okay.
can use their
Yeah.
lot, because I don't think they're open on Sunday.
No,
That
no.
old school got a
Got
big
the
parking
old
lot there
dairy,
too.
too.
Right.
They
Old
do, and
dairy
I can
across the
give you
street.
their name
Okay.
Yes, standard
and
steel.
address.
Yeah, Standard still shut
Yeah,
down.
they're shut down.
They're
That,
shut
that's down to the hill
Yeah,
parking.
Yeah.
Yeah, down
And that's
by
what
the
I'm
park.
thinking. Like, there's going to be a lot of people parking everywhere because it's. I mean, people may not stay 2 to 8 the whole time, but they may.
We have that one by the office building.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be coming and going, but if you're gonna have a magnitude of people there.
Yeah,
There's plenty
absolutely.
of parking.
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
fine.
So yeah, you're good.
All right.
thank
Well,
you.
we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No
And
problem.
I'll leave a flyer with Alicia. That
Are
way.
you gonna need barricades or anything for the
Do
road?
you have an extra flyer?
What's that?
You need any type of barricades or anything for the road?
We were gonna just caution tape it off with cones, but
The
you
Fire
have a
department has a
sugge-
bunch of cones and stuff like that.
Yeah, we have tons.
do you, okay.
Will the fire department shut it down for us, or do we just put the cones up from,
Well,
like, what are we allowed
we can
to?
discuss that when you can know.
Okay.
Okay.
How we can do it. You have an extra flyer.
Are you gonna have any on-site security with that?
We did not plan on that, but we can,
I'm the security.
Yes, ma'am.
Real tough,
we
Roger, ma'am.
suggest that.
You can have them.
Thank you.
I'll leave it to your discretion.
It'll be a bouncer, won't you, Billy?
These security shirts.
Yes, security shirt, I have some of those.
There you go.
That'll work.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for what yins are doing.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
The weather's supposed to be
Good luck.
It's supposed to be nice. We have tents just in case, because it's Pennsylvania. You
Yes,
never know,
yes.
but at least keep the sun out. We have seating outside.
Good.
A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
Oh, Kevin,
Thank you.
do you wanna put one on our
Thank you.
website?
Thank you very much.
We'll put this on our
Thank you
website.
so much. All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Probably easier to disperse.
Yeah, and I left some over here.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you.
Bye, thank you.
At, we're across the 37th
Oh, I
Street.
know.
Who's next, Mayor?
Across the crossing.
Oh, who's next?
Yes, please. Keep it going.
Janet Jurich Pica.
Hi. I'll give you a minute. My concern is the West Mayfield Foundry. It is not a sound structure, and I can't even sit on my deck because Pepe Le Pew and his friends come walking, and we go in the house. groundhogs.
Excuse me, Janet, can I have your address,
Oh, sure,
please?
3760, I should have known that. 3767 West Fifth Avenue.
Thank you.
I'll save you a second, Tina.
Yes,
Spoke with Mr. Diardi like
Okay.
2 days ago,
okay.
and he's requested to get a demolition permit.
Oh, yes, okay.
And so I sent him over the link, so he
Okay.
knows he's supposed to fill it out and send in the money to the secretary, so we can get him the permit, so he can start demolition.
Perfect, perfect. I just think we have 14 new little kids in eyeshot of that place. If one of them would wander over there, just watching out.
We've been on them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
appreciate
He
it.
said he tried to clear out
That's a
some of it,
playground
blah,
for
blah,
young
blah,
kids.
but, you know, I'm like, look, we got 2 bad buildings, we gotta get one of them for sure, something's gonna happen, or we're going to the magistrate. And he says, well, how about I demolition it? And I said, okay, all you gotta do is fill a permit, you know, so.
And I have one other thing. There is, my neighbor, God bless her, she's single. There's a big bunch of branches and sticks and trees that have fallen down, and we put them in a pile. My husband used to burn them.
He
They're
did.
not allowed to burn anymore.
No.
I was just wondering, because of the fact with Pepe Le Pew and all the groundhogs we have, that's just an infestation. That's where they go, and then they come out and dig in my yard. Is there any way that the fire department come down and burn that pile for that poor woman? Because we're not allowed to burn. If we do, someone's coming after us. It's just a concern because it is a very big brush pile full of trees.
Yeah, we're not allowed to burn either.
Can we get them up?
I mean, we can
No,
get you
because then we
okay,
have to do it for
we'll do it.
everybody
Yeah,
else.
okay. It's just, I feel bad for her because my
Yeah.
husband used to burn it, but you can't burn it anymore. And the critters are living there. The skunks, the groundhogs,
How big a pile is it, Jim?
Huge. You want to come see it?
Yeah.
Yes. You know where the lilac bushes were? Right to the right of it.
Right on the other
If you're
side.
facing, yeah. Kathy,
In the alley, it would be to the left side.
yes. Yeah, if you're at the alley, yeah.
We'll check it
It's a lot. And you know what? She's a single woman. She can't do it herself.
She's asked me about it.
Yeah, and she tries very hard. So I was just gonna bring that up because I see those little I see the paths, the groundhog.
Thank you, Janet.
You're welcome. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Next, Mayor.
Susan Wood, West Third.
I'm here.
Oh, I'm going over there. What's the number on your house?
3524 West Third. I just want to say that I think family and friends are extremely important. And I'm new here, and I've made a lot of friends, and I have a sister. But I was a nurse for over 40 years. And when it comes to an emergency situation, a life-threatening situation, friends and family come second to safety. Nothing is more important than that in that situation. So I'd just like to go on record as saying that, because I hear that, we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and we have friends, and we don't want to hurt their feelings, and I understand I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings ever, but I don't want to die in the house.
Thank you.
Nora Seuss, 37th Street Extension, 102.
Nuh-uh.
Anything to say.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I thought something else was going to be brought up.
Okay, never mind. Kevin Farkas, West 8.
3706, West 8. I'm probably the only one in this room won't get up to care about SB 525, which Pat mentioned about the vexatious requester bill that's in the Senate. I don't know how I feel about that bill, actually. I know there are problems with vexatious requesters. There was a fellow in Monroeville who submitted thousands and thousands of requests for documents and cost Monroeville a lot of time and money. And that does happen, and I know that the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs is in support of this bill and so forth. But I just want to ask that when you vote for this tonight, this motion, on behalf of the borough, on behalf of the citizens, that you understand that there are 2 constitutional challenges to this bill. And there's also a challenge on the grounds from the Pennsylvania News Association, because there's no exception for news organizations in this bill. That news organizations put in a lot of requests. And this bill is problematic on the First Amendment grounds and the 14th Amendment grounds in terms of our right to petition government freely and our right to have due process when we do petition government. So it's kind of a technical bill. There's technical concerns involved here. But I just hope that when you cast your vote tonight for this bill or against, that you understand that there are challenges that deal with the Constitution that are not quite resolved. The bill's not resolved. The bill is still waiting to be voted on. But that's what I want to say about that bill. I just want to go on record for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. That's it. That's it.
Okay,
Kevin's fire report.
Okay, so
back to business.
No, Kevin's fire
Oh, is that
report.
gonna be under the, okay,
Yeah, first been all along.
Right under it.
Okay.
Been first.
Am I up?
no?
Yeah,
Up
yeah,
again?
you actually should have gone first.
Well,
That's okay.
okay.
Done.
I know that we've all sat through these meetings and we don't like to sit through these meetings for very long, so I'm gonna not belabor the task here. And that is to present council with formally our committee reports. On Saturday, the email went to all of you with the electronic version of the full report. And when you go to that link, you also have electronic version of the executive report, which you all have a copy of, a hard copy of. That is 29 pages. The full report is 240 pages. There's a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of data, a lot of information that came from public sources. So I would like to take a moment to begin this little presentation here, and I promise I will keep this brief as possible. Just recently we got somebody on Facebook commented on our work, and someone named Sierra Fraser. It's on a public site. I don't know this person. The person gave a lot of lists, 5 items of concern. Number 5 on this list. And lastly, but most important, by your own admission, meaning the committee, our committee, the members of the committee had little to no fire service experience. So what makes any of you qualified to render any opinions or recommendations? To truly get an accurate opinion or recommendation, your study should have been done by trained people, or at a minimum, the contents read by and examined by trained and qualified fire professionals, and let them make an outside, non-biased opinion. And shame on council, Sierra writes, if they do take action based on opinions of untrained people in the field of study. Well, generally, I think it's a fair question, right? And we admit in our report that we citizens and those who are on council who are on this committee, yeah, we don't have firefighting experience. That's why we asked our fire department to be on the committee, to have representation, to help us understand some of these issues that we don't understand. And as you have heard already, and you'll see in this report, in the main report, that the fire department chose not to participate with our committee. And in our full report, in the appendices, which is half of the report, you will see the letters that we sent to the fire department. You will see the response that we got back from the fire department. You will see multiple requests for participation, all rebuffed. So we didn't have the luxury of our expert firefighters in this community. I don't know what else to say about that, but that is a finding that we note. So, I do want to say that in the report, it's not in your executive report, it's in the full report, acknowledgments to this. And I want to say that we are very grateful to the borough citizens and the elected and appointed government officials and representatives of our neighboring municipalities who helped us fill out our surveys, attended our listening events, came to our interviews. Some of you were here in this room, helped us with data collection. Pat, you were extraordinary in your right to know requests. I hope we weren't vexatious in your eyes.
No, you were not.
But I also want to point out that, I'm just going to read you this. We especially thank the following fire service leaders, industry professionals, and advisors for their time and effort educating the committee about current trends, conditions, and needs of firefighting and our fire service ecosystem. Thomas Cook, Pennsylvania State Fire Commissioner. Daniel Wolfier, peer consultant with the Community Development Economic Corporation. Timothy DeFore, Pennsylvania Auditor General. Fire Chief Adam Krepp, Big Beaver. Fire Chief Adam DeSanzo, Homewood Volunteer Fire Department. Fire Chief Mark Stowe, Captain Crawford, City of Beaver Falls Fire Department. Mayor Athena Pangikas Miller of Coppleboro was helpful. Mayor Mark Dennis of New Galley was helpful. Fire Chief Paul Bach, and I believe he is, Eric Bach is the president of the Fire Department of New Brighton. Lieutenant David Barnes, 41-year member of the New Brighton Fire Department. He's my cousin, so that's how I know that. Fire Chief Jason Medlin, and firefighters of Patterson Heights Volunteer Fire Department, which was probably really, to me, a really most significant conversation that we had, because we really got down to why fire departments really care about their communities. That was very important. Paul Farkas, former fire chief of West Mayfield Fire Department. Ryan Soyson, who lives in the borough, but he is also a Chippewa firefighter. And a fire hydrant technician with the Beaver Falls Water Authority. And Cynthia Maz Noobs, who is a specialist with the ISO organization, Verisk, that conducts the ISO PPC audits. These were all very helpful people, experts, technicians in their field, experts in their fields that helped us with this report. So we weren't without expert advice and consultation. We were helped along the way. We were without the help, advice of our fire department. As for the point of no one having read our, no expert having read our report, I want to read a couple of responses I got back. These are from firefighting professionals. I hope that everyone realizes how much time and energy your committee has put into this report. All of you deserve recognition for an outstanding job. If we had concerned citizens like yourselves in every municipality, we would all be much better off. That's a fire chief of a local fire department. I didn't ask for their permission to publish that, but I'm just giving you the contents. Another person who did review our report says, I want to recognize the professional and accurate study of the fire service in West Mayfield that was done by you and your committee. Words can't express my thoughts on the amazing job you did. In all my years in the fire service, I've never seen such a more thorough and professional study. You included everyone's input, no matter what side they are on. I find it very interesting that the fire department chose not to take part in a study concerning their own department or provide any information that may have helped their cause, if possible. But now that the study is complete, they are distributing the false information to the residents in their fact sheet and trying to get a petition signed by borough residents to save the fire department. I admire the approach that you used, especially pointing out the outright refusal of the fire department to do the right thing. Your report does the most important objective of all. It identifies what's best for the community and each and every citizen. I, this fire chief goes on to say, live by the fact that what we do is about Mrs. Smith, not us. The only goal of the fire department is the best protection of the citizen. Egos and personal agendas cannot get in the way. And I have no other commentary on that, but I do want to say that we were not without guidance. We were not without feedback. This committee has been going on for 8 months. The committee met in person each month. We discussed things. I don't know how many Friday updates I sent out, 2024. Every Friday I sent out an update about what's going on. At the end of this, it's not in your, just to save space, not in your executive report, but it's in the full report, the signatories and some comments. A few people had comments. But I want to read you the signatories. The Honorable, because I think this matters. The Honorable Lisa Cogley, Mayor. I agree with the findings of fact and recommendations of this report. Myself, Citizen Co-Chair. I agree with the findings of fact and the recommendations of this report. Honorable Janet Helbig, Council Co-Chair on the committee. I agree with the findings of fact and recommendations of this report. Jan John Stozoppo, citizen member. I agree with the findings of fact and recommendations of this report. Janet Jerk Pico, citizen. I agree with the findings of fact and recommendations of this report. Bob Kime, also citizen. I agree with the findings of fact and recommendations of this report. Tracy Popovich. I agree with the findings of fact and recommendations of this report. The Honorable Jeffrey Seibert, counsel. I agree with the findings of fact and recommendations of this report. Honorable Bob Tate, President of Council, who was the ex officio member of this committee, because that is the privilege of the President of Council. I agree with the findings of fact and recommendations of this report. And Sue Wood, also citizen, I agree with the findings of fact and recommendations of this report. Every member of this report, or this committee, agreed completely, unanimously, with the findings of fact of this report. And every single recommendation that we offer to the committee. There are 36 specific recommendations. When we began this process, our very first meeting, we sat around this table and we said, look, let's get it on the table. We all have thoughts and feelings about this fire department. Let's get the bullshit out. If you don't like the fire department, you want the fire department decertified, just say so. And we all did. We all talked about our feelings, right? But we also then said, we're all going to pledge. We're all going to pledge that we will be guided by the facts. We will be guided by the research. We will be guided by what we find out. Not through hearsay, not through rumors, but in the public record, in the budgets, in the municipal financial audits, in the right to know requests, in the documentation from the fire service and the fire commissioner's office. That's what we pledged. I don't want to say we took an oath. That's a little too formal. But you all have taken an oath, right, to do your job with fidelity. And I think we did the same thing with this committee. So, this document here, and one of the reasons I don't want to belabor this is because you all don't have a copy of this with you, but this is all available online. You can take a look at it. We start this off with an executive summary, which was the reason for this review. And I want to point out that this started because of citizens' concerns. Citizens' concerns. Those concerns are all documented in our report. I scoured from June of 2019 to present, I scoured all of the council meeting minutes, and I pulled out every reference to citizens' concerns on record, and I put them in the report. There's a big lengthy list. Also, we listened to the people in the survey. We had a section there for open-ended questions, open-ended comments. Those are all documented in the report as well as the actual questions, the numerical quantitative data for the questions. But I want to just sort of say, this all started because citizens started this. And I want to say that this, what you may have heard or going around, that some committee wants to get rid of the fire department. Well, some committees. You know what this committee is? This committee is a duly appointed ad hoc committee of this body. This committee was voted into existence by unanimous vote of council, including 3 current members of the fire department, voted for this committee. So I think we have a little bit of credential in that regard. But this report is inclusive. We reached out to as many people in the borough, people who used to live in the borough. Tell us what you think. Not about just the fire department. This is not just about the fire department. This is about fire protection, fire prevention and fire protection. Tell us what you think. We asked a lot of people that. And we got their responses, and we documented those. This report is comprehensive. You look at it. There's a lot of stuff in this report. We cover a lot of ground. Some of it may be useful, some of it may be not. It's there to help you all, you members of council who are charged with making the determination of the next steps, is to help you make those next steps in a reasoned, thoughtful, coherent manner. This is evidential. We relied on proof, documentation, the record. It's conclusive. We make we make assertions based on what we found. And it's practical. The 36 recommendations that we offer are solutions to problems that we've identified. Right? There's no witch hunt here. There's no fabrication of anything. See problem, address problem. That's what we did in this report. So, this report, the large report, as I explained, is very long, but we break it into sections, our 4 areas of inquiry. We went to the citizens. We went to our fire service ecosystem. We went to the people, those fire experts around, and we said, hey, tell us what's going on. What are you doing in your communities? How's that working for you? What advice do you have for us? We didn't ask for dirt. We didn't ask anybody to talk about our community. And quite frankly, I do have to mention that everyone that we talked to was very respectful in that regard. Nobody talked out of school. Very professional, our conversations. And then we talked to our local government officials. We had a questionnaire that went out to everybody, pretty extensive questionnaire. People got our council members and local government officials had these questions, and we had a meeting here where we drilled down on some of those questions. And then we turned to our fire service itself. We did the same process. We had a list of questions that we asked the fire department to consider. We asked for a meeting to be set up. And the fire department was non-responsive to our request. And that documentation, by the way, that's also in the report. Our requests, our letters, it's all in the report. It's in the council meeting minutes as well. I just want to touch upon a few pretty significant findings. We have no municipal fire service agreement. There's no contract between our borough, our municipality, our leaders, our taxpayers, with our fire service. Terms and conditions, rights and responsibilities. We don't know. There's no written agreement anywhere. We put the request to our borough secretary for that agreement, and there was no agreement. The fire department has no agreement on record. So that's a pretty serious finding, which a member on our committee has experience in the municipal insurance risk area, and she assured us that that puts us at risk, not having a fire service agreement in this borough. The ISO Public Protection Classification Rating, when we got into this, no one seemed to know what the heck that was. But I mean, literally, what is this rating about? Let alone what is our rating for our community? All communities have a rating. So we asked for that report to see it, and we had no cooperation from our fire department on that, so we had to request, and we received that report, and that is published as well. Municipal support. We found out by looking at the financial records that, and we don't suggest that there's any financial fraud or anything like that, but we did find that there were expenditures for fire protection and fire prevention that were not readily apparent. The workers' comp, for example, payment, right? Not listed in the budget, not listed in municipal audit reports, but it is a genuine expense that this taxpayers pay every year that was basically unaccounted for, I would say, through an accounting error, I would say. Pat, you may disagree on that, I don't know. But
Well,
I don't know where it was listed.
All I can say is, when we get our information from our insurance company, it is not broken down. So we do not, we had no knowledge of how it was broken down.
Right, we point that out that it should be
Yeah.
broken down. And we also point out that other municipalities do break it down.
Yeah,
Right,
well,
so it's to the tune of $9,000 this year. That's a nice chunk of change that taxpayers are putting out there. And we didn't even quite know why, how that figure was derived and who was the beneficiary of that insurance, which, by the way, is required by the state. And so one of the things we also did, looking at the finances, looking at all the expenditures that we do here in the borough, we found out which were discretionary and which were not. And of all the expenditures, and there is a pretty big list in your documentation here, it's also in the main report, there's a big list. there's only two expenditures that are not actually mandatory. One is the foreign fire insurance distribution. That's state aid. We're just a pass-through for that state aid. We can't control that. We can't withhold that, right? And then there's the workman's comp. Everything else, this body has the discretion of paying it, not paying it, increasing it, decreasing it. We're not sure that that was very clear before this. And we also found, we did a 5-year look back from year 20, 21, 22, 23, and where possible, 24 year to date. The numbers are here. And so what we found that really, on average, what this borough supported the fire department was on average over those 5 years was $26,653. That's a bit of a shocking number to a lot of people who didn't realize that that was the actual number. So, a lot of financial data there for your use in whatever calculations you do in the future for the funding, the provisions, the appropriations of fire protection and fire prevention services. We go into some detail with the ISO report, mostly in the realm of council, because that's a community thing, right? Fire departments get it, fire departments deal with it, but that's really about the community. That deals with the water, fire hydrants and so forth. That deals with community, public education and so forth. So what we uncovered here, if that's the way you want to put it, is that our council had no idea of this report, had never seen it, had never had a chance to review it, had never had a chance to provide corrective action, right, for that report, for the findings of that report. Now, why is that report important? Well, it does factor into what insurance companies calculate as your fire insurance rates, right? And some, you know, if it's a wonky situation, some fire insurance carriers will not even insure you, right? If you have a very bizarre situation there with that ISO business. But what we found is that that report was not forthcoming from the fire department who received that report, not forthcoming to council. And we've also found that council never asked. Council knew about it. People knew about it, but never asked. The people who received that report at the fire department were also people who sit on the fire and police committee on council. So that's something that we pointed out, that the public safety reporting in this community has been very problematic. And to your point, Ms. Woods back there, public safety is a very important concern. If there was a problem with public safety in this community, this body needs to know about it. This body needs to help do something about it, because that is your job. You are tasked with public safety by state statute, the borough code. Jesus, I don't know. There's a responsibility that you have for public safety. But you can't do anything about what you don't know, right? And so our report really zeroes in on some of this problematic reporting. Okay, so let me just turn, because I want to wrap this up. I don't want to keep everybody here too long. I want to go through the recommendations. I want to say that the common perception that this committee was formed to get rid of the fire department, to review the fire department, well, that's partially true. When we started this, we realized, oh my gosh, we've got a bigger problem here than just the fire department. We have a problem here across the board. Our ordinances that deal with fire protection and fire prevention are really outdated, really inadequate. Look around at other municipalities and you see the problems with that stuff. Our leadership, public safety leadership, is incoherent. The fire and police committee, there is no definition. There is no description for that committee. What does the chair do? What kind of reports do they give to council? We don't know. There's nothing written down. There's no evidence that there's any structure to this at all, right? Yes, that's how things have been going on for years and years and years and years. My father, who served on this body, served in the fire department, served as mayor, was the first one to admit we had our heads up our ass with a lot of this stuff. And by the way, Paul Farkas has an open letter in this report stating his opinion. So recommendations of council. Our very first area is call to action. None of this matters. None of this matters one bit if you all do nothing. If you just carry on with the status quo, you don't read these reports, you don't listen to what we're saying here, you don't consider this stuff, you don't talk amongst yourselves and figure out like, oh, maybe we should do something here. Now, we're not saying, right, we respect your right to figure out what those next steps are. But please, do something. Do something with this, because it is a matter of life and death, right, in this community. The second area is public safety strategic plan. There is no strategic plan. You know, strategic plans are like thinking about, you know, today, tomorrow, the next day, whatever. We have no public safety strategic plan. I'm sure the chief has a strategic plan in his department. I'm sure other organizations do. We found no evidence of a strategic plan, so we have recommendations that there should be one. We have no fire prevention and fire protection program. Other communities do. Other municipalities actually do have programs. It's a subset of the public safety realm. So we're calling for the creation of a fire prevention and fire protection program. Ordinances. And by the way, most of all these recommendations, the concluding recommendation for these sections is this should be codified. This stuff should be codified in the ordinances. You know why? Because ordinances are the law. The ordinances are the law. They tell us what we should be doing by the law. And there are penalties for not following the law. So if we have to put those into law, and we have to put penalties for not following the law, maybe we'll get some adherence to the law. So these should all be codified. Ordinances themselves, I talked about how they're updated. They should be updated. And we are recommending an omnibus fire prevention and fire protection ordinance that packs in all the stuff that deals with this stuff. Other communities do this. From ordinances, from subsections about fire police, subsections recognizing the fire departments, recognizing how monies are handled, recognizing the Firemen's Relief Association, right? Recognizing something called the escrow Act, which we don't have, which we could have done for the past 30 years. We could have created this escrow act that indemnified the borough against property owners having their houses burned down, collecting the insurance, and then booking. Right? That escrow act is something that would save the taxpayers money. That's something that should be included in here. Public safety leadership. We address that. Somebody needs to be in charge. Somebody needs to be held accountable for this stuff. Again, our fire and police committee, no recognition of duties, rights, duties, obligations, authorities of those leaders on that committee to provide oversight and accountability in this area. Public safety fire readiness reporting. We talked about that considerably. We have a number of recommendations here, including that the ISO audit report shall be submitted to council when it becomes due. Council shall set eyes onto that report. The public safety fire annual summary, right, should be submitted to council in writing each year. That has meaningful information that attests to the readiness of public safety. The readiness of public safety, right? And we list every report from the Fire and Police Committee between July of 2019 and 2024 to date, July of this year. 60% of the time, there's no report. 60% of the time, there is no report. What is reported, in our opinion, is superfluous information. Look at your agenda for tonight, and you will see that the Fire and Police Committee is going to tell you about what? Air conditioning in the fire hall, buffing and polishing of new flooring. What about training? What about new equipment? What about the stuff that deals with actual fire fighting, fire protection, fire suppression? I think that's what this body needs to know. I think that's what citizens need to know. That's the kind of reporting that is meaningful and useful, right? Flooring in the social hall? Oh, by the way, that's none of our concern. Fire department made it clear. This borough has no control, no interest in the social hall and anything else that goes on over there, right? So why are we hearing about that? Let's hear about readiness. From month to month, how ready are we? How prepared are we to fight fires in this borough? Fiscal management and budget. This is a big one. There should be, from the get-go, every year. Now, you all are going to be tasked with coming up with a budget real soon here, right? You're going to have to put a proposed budget out there in November, and you're going to have to finalize that budget in December. When does that process begin, and how do you begin that? Fire department, what are your needs for this borough? What are your needs? Do you have an operating budget that attests to your needs, that you can come to the council and say, we need $10,000 for something? I don't think there's a single person at this table that would balk at that if that figure, if it were justified. We're all in favor of that, right? Maybe we'll have to figure out how to get $10,000, but if you can tell us that that's important, by God, that's important stuff to know. That doesn't take place. There is no budget for the fire service offered up by the Fire and Police Committee. It doesn't pass through the Finance and Litigation Committee. I think that needs to change. Appropriations needs to change. It needs to be need-based. We address these things here very specifically. Municipal Fire Service. Number one recommendation, we think council should professionalize the relationship between the municipality and its fire service provider. By that we mean, I think you need a contract. I think you need a formal relationship, an agreement, what we're responsible for, what you're responsible for, terms and conditions, liabilities. That's what I mean by the professionalization of that relationship. That needs to take place no matter what happens, right? This borough's going to have a fire service one way or another. Whatever that relationship is, it's got to be formalized. Our second recommendation is that we do move to decertify. We think council should move to decertify the fire department and outsource the borough's fire service. We make no recommendation. That we are very clear. It is not within our scope to go beyond that. We are recommending the decertification and outsourcing. Council has that determination. What that looks like, there are probably a jillion options to what that could look like, right? After that, after the period in that sentence, that's not for us to decide. That's for you all. That's your prerogative, right? We hope that the information that we provide in this report will help you make that determination, your next steps. But that's what we are recommending. We do not have a pension for the Beaver Falls Fire Department. That's not what we are recommending. Listen, hear me. We are not recommending that we outsource fire service to the Beaver Falls Fire Department. It may end up there, right? It may be your decision. Ultimately, I don't know. That's not what this committee is recommending. But we are accused of that. If anyone reads this report and still makes those accusations, it's an outright lie. And then community, our last area, community. We think that public safety is the community should be involved in this. So that's why we're calling for a mandated, an actual public safety fire prevention, fire safety education program that council mandates. council mandates it. Don't wait for the fire department to do it, because we searched the records and the fire department isn't doing it, right? Fire department doesn't have any money to do a program like that. Well, we searched the records. Fire department never asked council for any money, not one dime for a public education program. And you know, council never offered one dime to the fire department for a public education program, right? Not one dime. But the fire department asked for $500 for candy to deliver the fire truck went around the community, and council gave the fire department $500, right? We're not saying that's a bad thing. Maybe they could have delivered some fire prevention materials, because kids love that stuff. Little trinkets, coloring books, right? Stop, drop, roll stuff. I don't know what's current in the area today. But none of that happened according to everything we can see in the public record. There's no evidence of any of that. We're asking that if there is a public safety committee, or maybe if the fire and police committee rolls on the way it is, that council puts a citizen on that committee. Puts a citizen voice in, well, I guess the vote's not necessarily the thing, but a voice, a citizen voice on that committee. And we're asking that council more meaningfully reach out to the community on matters of public safety. And this should also be codified. So our conclusion, we do recognize that not everybody agrees with the very premise of this committee, right? We've heard it. Sure, the fire department has problems. This needs to be fixed somehow. There just needs to be more people to join the fire department somehow. And we addressed that point actually in detail. And just a little side, we found no evidence of a volunteer firefighter recruitment or retention program. No strategic plan that mentions any of that. There is no recruitment program. The fire department never came to council and said, can you give us the resources necessary so we can recruit and retain volunteer firefighters? Never happened, according to the record. And according to the record, there's no evidence that council ever said, hey, fire department, how much can we give you? How can we assist you on a recruitment and retention program? Never happened. So, right? What goes in comes out, I guess, as they say. So, we recognize that some people may not agree with the committee's structured methodology or our direct, I'll put it this way, no-nonsense approach to conducting business. Unapologetically, we found ways to move around or through the barriers presented to us, including attempts to stonewall the committee or attempts to not participate in our activities. And yet others may not agree with our conclusions and recommendations, finding them unsubstantiated, unnecessary, or unaffordable. Okay? We stand behind the legitimacy of our research and findings, yet we remain open to corrections of the factual record. We welcome meaningful and substantive revisions, but we will not entertain hearsay and unsupported opinions. If we have an error of fact, let us know. We will correct the record. Other than that, through our report, citizens are now more aware of the actual condition of our borough's fire prevention and fire protection programs. Dubious practices, and I use that word deliberately, dubious practices of those tasked with administrative and managerial oversight and accountability of public safety, and we've illuminated an ongoing resistance to addressing known issues affecting fire prevention and fire protection capabilities and readiness. Citizens may conclude for themselves how these ongoing public safety problems are potential threats to life and property, and determine how these issues may affect property values and fire insurance costs. But most important, citizens now know, I'm going to underscore that, citizens now know that council has the immediate legal, legislative, and financial ability to fundamentally improve fire-related public safety in our community. This process only begins when this body takes action. But do you have the will to act? That's my question. On behalf of all the members of this committee, the 8 months of work. Believe me, it was a lot of work. Do you have the will to act? And we don't presume what that act is, but do you have the will to do something to move things forward? So we strongly encourage the mayor, members of council, our municipal officers, fire service officers, emergency management coordinators, and all citizens of the borough to read this report in its entirety and give it some serious consideration. And meanwhile, on behalf of the members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to serve the borough. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You did a great job.
Could I speak about something?
We're still in citizens,
Okay.
right? I mean, is that, I
No,
guess,
that's
I
fine.
guess you
You're
can.
right. No, we'll wait.
I think we're done with the citizens. The last one spoke.
Oh.
And we went to Kevin.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, I'll get back to regular business.
I second it.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Go ahead, Luke.
No, we'll wait till we get to.
Streets first.
Okay. All right, streets, bridges, lighting, building, grounds, equipment, Jake.
Under old business, we've got Craig Street Alley that's still being under construction. Bill and I have tried, we went down there and we made a plan. The unfortunate side of things is that road is in really bad shape. The best thing that we came up with for money-wise is to send Brian and our crew down there, Gerald, and mill that out ourselves. What that entails is Brian getting the skid steer, putting the milling machine on, and going up and down that alleyway as many times as it takes to turn all of that hard surface into gravel. Once it's gravel, we'll take the material that we have there, we'll spread it around the best we can. If we need more, we will add more to it. The issue that we have with that is it is a really steep hillside, so we are going to continue to have to do maintenance. There are always going to be ruts there. We are going to try and make them better, for lack of better terms.
Yeah, we're gonna slope the road.
We are going to slope the road, but again, it's still going to eat gravel every year. It's still going to put gravel out onto either side of the road every year. So maybe next year we can start to think about doing something different, aprons or whatever else, if it turns into a bigger problem. But
Does that mean you have to scrape all the gravel down first to get to the hard surface?
no, that machine will run right through the gravel and it'll break that up too.
Okay.
We did put new stuff on there. Brian dug a trench, we backfilled it with big stone. We've got water flowing. There's so much water coming out of that hillside that it doesn't matter. It's washing it away, it's running it back out. So we're gonna do what we can to do that. Bill and I also talked about, while we had the streets being done, there is a Harbison Road where it's going up. The paver's gonna be right there. We considered asking them to see if they can run their machine up through there, seeing how much that would cost us. The milling machine, their milling machine. Brian, how long do you think that's gonna take you to mill that whole road the right way? Couple days? Couple days to run our little machine down there. The only issue that I have with that is yes, we have equipment to do this job, but that equipment is getting older, and the carbide that we use for the milling machine is going to cost us money. I mean, we're gonna break stuff there. I mean, that's a lot of milling to do there. That's just more wear and tear on our equipment, and I'm always trying to think about the better, safer, or more cost-effective way of doing that. But as of right now, we are gonna go that route. We don't know when the roads are gonna be done. We don't know what days they're gonna be here, and this is something that needs to get handled pretty quickly. So we are gonna go ahead with that. Craig Street Alley will get done. Hopefully we can get on it by next week, try and get a lot of it finished up by next week. So we'll try and get that done. Also, under old business, we spoke about the trees that were leaning over the backstop down at the park. Those trees, after that storm, turned into an emergency. The roots were all exposed. That tree was leaning pretty heavily. Members of council made the decision to get a lift, rent a lift, and send the guys down there and cut everything out. That job is complete. While we had the lift, we definitely took advantage of it and got rid of a couple other issue trees that were in our areas, and they're gone and they're nothing to worry about there. The roads are still being patched. Just recently, last week, Brian fixed the salt shed. We had a beam that was out over here. And before we started filling it back up with salt, we figured it would probably be a good idea to throw some hardware at that and get it taken care of. It is done. Brian did a great job on that. With the last storms that we had, we've definitely had an influx of tree branches and yard debris and things like that being brought up. That stuff is all chipped up. They did a fantastic job keeping up with that. And that is all I got for old business.
Thanks, Jake. Lou, fire, police.
Before you move on to that, because I'm on the street.
Go ahead.
Jake, the paving process, because that's part of the street.
Yep.
I've talked to them people, again, I'm in contact with them every week. Whitmer Engineering, everything's gotten back to Youngblood. They've approved everything, as far as I can tell. Whitmer Engineering also got a hold of PennDOT, because we have to worry about liquid fuel funding and spending for that part of it. So that part of it has been cleared through PennDOT. As far as I know, that's all a done deal.
Good.
All I'm waiting for now is a start date.
Great.
And I have to wait on Youngblood to tell me when they can come and do it. So once that happens, then we can get started doing the paving. And that's why I said if we get the alley done, because I don't know when it could be another month or two.
Yeah, we don't know.
You know, they pave it, depending on the weather, they'll pave as long as they can.
Right. Until they shut the plants down.
That's it for that. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks,
thanks.
Phil.
Lou.
Okay, just on hold. Where we at? Okay, I handed in reports for the fire, and the police handed in their reports. But I haven't been able to do much because I had major surgery a month and a half ago, just to answer one of his questions, why I don't have a lot of stuff down. But that's it for old.
Yeah, there was only one call, and it was at 3721 West 6th Avenue. Was it?
Yeah, on that call, here the mother-in-law called it in, and not the people that live there. So when we responded to the call, we went up on a porch and all we got was a recording. They told us to stay off the property. Well, we called county and told them. And then to come back, the guy that owned the property he called me. Well, he called county first, then county, and him, they called me. And here they're feuding, the mother-in-law, son-in-law.
What was the call for?
They said that there was a gas leak inside the
Oh,
house,
okay.
but nobody was there. Nobody was even staying there. So he called me and asked, he says, from now on, when you get a call for that house, don't respond. I said, I can't do that. I said, I have to respond. So he was supposed to get back to county and the police department and get that all straightened out. But, so we had a double call on that.
Okay. That's it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Sewers and sanitation, Bill.
Okay, under sewers, last month I talked to you about, I guess that's still called Craig Alley on that side.
Craig Alley, yep.
Yeah, well, Craig Alley seems to be a real busy spot. But this is the other side of 37th Street between West 4th and 5th.
Headed towards
It's
the
right
old
where the
foundry.
foundry's at. At the top of Walnut, there's a manhole there, and that's where we have to service that line. That line runs about anywhere from 400, 500 feet out to the end. It does not go to 37th Street. There's no manhole at the other end, so I can't line it or do anything like that. I asked permission last month to camera it. You guys gave me the permission. So I had the crew come in and they did some cammering down there, but they could only go 188 feet. and they hit a blockage in the pipe, would allow the camera to go, and it's only a 6-inch line. So it makes it really tight to get a camera in to begin with. So anytime a solid blockage stops it. And that's as far as they got. In that pipe, because we had just jetted it about 2 weeks prior, that pipe was really pretty clean. I was amazed just how clean, not a drop of roots ran. But there again, we were going past the boundary, and there are no trees in that area. I showed Jake the video, and when I saw the video, I was amazed. Just about every pipe joint in there is offset a little bit. And there are several of them that have gaps. Yep. And we have some infiltration coming.
They were never
So
mortared
it needs
in.
lined. Is
No.
that what you're saying?
Can't
You
line.
can't line, it's too
I
small.
don't have another end to put a lining in. I have to have an end to cap it off so that we heat it. There's no manhole at the far end, at least to my knowledge. You know, people tell me there's one, but we can't find it. We've tried a couple different times. That's why I wanted the camera. So if the camera goes up there, I'll put an end to that. But the camera can't make it there. But from what I'm seeing in that pipe, I don't know if I would line that anyhow. Because it's
very
you should run
jagged.
straight, but it goes such a zigzag and moving and jack. It needs to be dug up and replaced.
How deep is it?
I don't know, about what, 5 feet?
6 foot, yeah.
Something we could do that.
It's something we can do. Bill and I have discussed that, and I have discussed it with Brian. Brian is comfortable with doing it. I myself am comfortable with him doing it, and I think Bill is
Yeah,
also.
I think the only concern I have is making sure we get the proper fall, so stuff will run. I don't think it's gonna be an issue. I think there's probably 5 tap-ins along there.
Yes.
Maybe 6. I don't remember, I don't know what's coming in from the West Fifth side, coming down the hill from the back of the houses. I don't know how many houses are tapped in, because I couldn't see any. I think we saw 2 or 3 that were live. There was 2 capped down, but there's 2 or 3 that were live. One's coming from the old foundry on the left. If you remember that little work building in front of the garage?
Yep.
There was somebody living there at one time, so that's got a tap in. There was a tap in coming from the right, but it was full of debris. I don't know what you want to call it. They call it grease. I don't think it was grease. But it don't look like it's been used for quite a while, so it's probably coming from that side where the other foundry was. There is another tap further up. But at the 188 feet or 189 feet, that's all the further we could go to see. I know there's gonna be at least 2 more taps at the end, and probably 1 or 2 from West Fifth coming down. So to tap them in, that's just a matter of us putting a T in and putting a Fernco from their line into the T.
Right.
Based off of what we were able to see, and just getting on HomeDepot.com and putting in a very quick, simple material list, we're sitting around $2,500 if our guys do it.
It's probably gonna be cheaper to get your pipe somewhere else.
It very well could be. We were just trying to get a
Well, I called National Plumbing because I thought, we're fine.
Right.
Almost 500 feet of pipe, what's the deal? $80 a piece for a 10-foot section. Wow. It was almost double what Home Depot was.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cheaper at Home Depot for that. It was like 40-something bucks.
Yeah, I don't know, I think it's $50, 45 or something.
So is that in the budget to do this year, Pat?
No,
Okay,
It's
so
not.
we'll wait till next year.
but I'm telling you, this is why we have to revisit that pipe every year. We gotta go up there and brush it out and get it out, so we're gonna have to do that on a regular basis, probably, I would say January, February next year, maybe March, the latest. I'd check that out again before it becomes an issue.
Okay,
But we need to make sure we put that in the budget for next year.
all right.
What else do I have? We already covered that. I think that's
MS
it.
Ford.
Well, that's, I'll talk about MS4 while we're here. Like I said, falls under sewer lines or whatever. Excuse me, Jake mentioned earlier that big heavy storm come through, played havoc with that area down there, where we had the MS4 project put in. It dug up some stuff, it moved a lot of rock and put it in the middle. It took out 2 socks that I can see that were like, I don't know how long, right about 10 feet. Moved 2 of them out. We found 1 of them down on the bank just before it went in the tunnel. So I have Brian and them guys, they retrieved it, and they had another one. I don't know where you pulled that out.
It was actually about 30 feet down from where it was supposed to be.
Alright, so they took those two and I showed them where they're at, put them in, and they restaked them and put them back in. And that's what we're required to do. Those socks are not to be there permanently. So everybody knows, those socks are there till the bank has time to get secured, and firm up and hold material. So, you know, if they wash away and we can't find them, that's what it is. We don't have to replace them. It's just something that we need to do. If we find them, that's great, let's put it back. Also, there was huge piles of rock in there. I talked to Whitmer Engineering about it, and said, by all means, pull that back up onto the bank. Told Brian, and they got permission from the, who lives there, and how it used to be Dick's Clues place to go in, which is actually borough property when I looked at the GIS map. They go in, they come in from the back side, so they didn't drive across the creek, and they pulled the stuff back out. And he did that a couple other places too, I think. Pulled stuff over. So it's back to where it needs to be, and it's gonna be like that, and the next storm comes, we'll go down and inspect it again, and we'll make whatever necessary. But that is our job or our requirement to maintain that area as best we can. Just so everybody understands what happened down there and what we're doing. That's the end of MS4.
Is that it? Emergency management? Anything?
You want me to talk about emergency management too?
It's on here.
Well, I have it on there, but that's not all my new business. All right, as far as emergency management goes, just so you're aware, end of the year, I am going to step down as emergency management coordinator.
Oh,
So
Okay, and who's taking over?
that is up to council. My recommendation would be to put Eli in. He is my assistant coordinator. Eli is a class fanatic. He
Okay.
takes every class, every training you can think coming down the road. He has all the qualifications for this job. I think he's missed one class to be able to do the whole 9 yards. I talked to Eli, he said he's willing to accept it. So to do that, but in order for that to happen, council has to I have to have a copy of the minutes saying whoever you're going to appoint, present that job and take it down to county. County will then send it off to the governor, and then he'll either approve it or disapprove. He'll have to do a background check if he doesn't already have one. But
Is any,
just so you know, at the end of the year, I am going to be, I get too old for stuff, well.
I hear you.
Although I'm
I
gonna help
retired
Eli.
3 years ago and I haven't stopped yet. Does anybody have a problem with that? Do we need to vote on that? That shouldn't take a vote, should it?
You'll have to vote at some point.
Yeah.
I
At
would
some
think-
point,
think
but-
Or are you
we're
allowed to
supposed
vote today, though?
No,
No.
you don't have any
You have to bring it up at the next meeting.
No.
Okay,
So can you add that for the next meeting, Pat?
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, because it's gonna take, I asked him, I was just down at county Tuesday night for quarterly training. And they talked about damage assessment from the Red Cross, which is similar to damage assessment from emergency management, not quite. They were just telling us what they do, but we don't follow that same guideline, although it's close.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see a problem with that, being he's already,
If he's
Doing it.
interested in
He
doing
wants
us.
He's interested, he's been my deputy for forever, and he's probably more certified than I am. I can guarantee he's more certified than I am.
okay. Bring it up for the next meeting, we'll vote on it.
Got it in there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jason, finance.
Nothing from, wasn't here.
Jeff, ordinance. They're going quick then. Parks and
Question on
Recs.
ordinances.
Okay,
Last month, we talked about some kind of ordinance that you guys were looking up from the county.
It's International Property Maintenance Code.
Yeah. Would we find any more information out about that?
So I think I should probably be having Jeff's assistance with this because he's the ordinance officer, you know? What I did find out was that the book is like $59, and I called Jim Marshall's office after I talked to the ICC is the International Code Council, that's who has the books, or online version, blah, blah, blah. They said, well, you got to know what kind of jurisdiction you're in to be able to know which year to buy. Because, I mean, there's from 03 all the way to 2014, every 3 years. And I'm like, well, how are you supposed to pay? So, didn't know, so called Jim Marshall's. They did some digging, and they said, you can pick whatever your council decides to pick. So then after talking with, I'm like, oh, okay, so whichever version you want. So after talking with New Brighton's Holly over there, the code enforcement officer, she said that they have, I think she told me that they have either 03 or 09, but every area has something different, you know? So it's just whatever one that you decide to adopt. And same thing with Jim Marshall's office says, you could just adopt whichever one you feel like adopting. But she said, well, and I'm like, well, you told me it was gonna be expensive. And she's like, well, yeah, it just depends on what you decide to do. If you wanna buy the book's like $59 according to the lady at the website. You don't have to be a member. However, talking with Holly, there's the catch. If you wanna have any updates on that version, so anything happens tomorrow after you buy the book today, if you don't be a member, then you'll never see what that update is. There's the catch. I don't know what the membership thing is, because she
Yeah, I was just
just
gonna ask,
kind
what's the
of,
cost of membership?
well, I just found out that you know, like yesterday, that's why I said, probably need to pass this off to the ordinance officer, you know, and say, hey, why don't you do some more digging, you know, I mean, we should be like, kind of having this together kind of thing.
And then Tina, once you pick one, you have to have an ordinance adopting it. Well, you would just put in the ordinance saying, we're adopting whatever the current version is and any other subsequent additions there.
Amendments to that version.
Right, right. You're
Correct.
covered. You don't have to,
Yeah.
you don't have to do an ordinance every darn time a
Right,
new version
well, and
comes out.
that's why she was saying, like, you know, you be a member, so that way you always
Did you
get
talk to
any
Holly down
updates.
there?
Holly, over
They
in
should-
New Brighton.
Yeah, they should know how much that is.
Well, she could tell me what it is off the top of her head, but
Okay.
I think it was like 50-some bucks a year, I think, or something like that, I think I saw, but.
The book itself is expensive.
No, the book,
Well,
according to the lady, she told me it was $59 to buy the book, and I
Well, it's
said,
kind of
well,
expensive for a paperback book, about yay.
but you're only talking about one book.
Yeah.
So how many books do you probably need? You probably need one for the code enforcement officer, one for the secretary, and one for the ordinance officer. So there's 3 books right there, you know? Let alone if you maybe just buy the online, but then does everybody have access to that? I don't know, but like I said, without buying the membership, you won't ever know if something falls away or gets added to it, you know? And I'm like, gotcha.
But that will put us current.
So what happens
Well,
is.
not all of them,
that-
but with
So
that
that keeps you like more current as to like your code enforcement, like more specific about some things, you know?
Sure.
But that doesn't mean that what you already have is null and void. It's just, you know, it might be a little bit more specific on some of the
Yeah, that's the
topics.
part that I was not understanding last month. When you say,
Yeah.
are still there, but this is new.
Well, it's
I don't know how we can
more
go back and
specific.
forth, is my point.
Well, I mean, they're both, one is not dead, you know, unless you have an, what do you call that? If you want an ordinance dead, you know, like.
Or you can amend it or
Yes,
repeal it.
Right, and unless you do that, it's still active. So it's just maybe not as specific, you know, as some of the topics, like how much
Do you know how many
garbage or
ordinances
how
are
much.
in there?
Huh?
Do you have any idea how many ordinances it covers?
It has a lot that we already have, you know? I
Well,
mean,
that's my other question.
But there's
Gonna
other
be-
stuff that we
But-
don't have that
It's-
instead of giving,
She cheated and sent me over like a 2018 one, and it's kind of hard to, you know. read the
instead
whole
of
damn
giving
thing.
Joe, let's do these and then this
But
month,
it
let's
does
do
not
these
do
next.
anything with our zoning, which our zoning is obviously
Yeah, that's
in
another issue.
disrepair, you know, it's in bad shape, so.
Because that was gonna be my next question, if the committee, we have a committee here, was to say, okay, we're gonna work on, council said, we're gonna work on these 3 ordinance updates. And we, next month, we could work on and present next month's updates.
That's what this is gonna do,
That
keep you
would-
from having to do all that.
For the
But
ordinances.
the updates that we would do here would eliminate the old previous one, which are gonna be almost a rewrite, is what I was saying. Or an update or amendment to it.
If you adopt that International Property Maintenance Code, and you gotta look at that and see, make sure that it covers everything you want it to cover, and it probably will, okay? I've looked at it, I mean, I'm not an expert in it, but I've read through it a little bit, okay? But you may be able to repeal some of the more antiquated ordinances you have that cover bits and pieces of that, okay? You know, and,
Well, I can forward over this to Jeff, and he can look through this sample of 2018 and poke at it for a while. Jeff gives me his
I
email.
was just curious what happened with that.
I do have the 2018
No, I mean my email.
Oh, no, I don't have your email. But I'll get it from you.
Alright.
Okay, thank you. That's all I want.
Okay, let's move on to Janet with her Parks and Recs. You have a,
What?
report,
Like, in my
which you
mind?
did, okay. Probably should start on paper.
Okay. We have 2 rentals this month, we have 1 next month. That's it for that.
How many do you have so far?
Oh my goodness, how many do we have? How many do we have so far? I don't know, Pat, do you?
I mean, there was over $1,900 in rentals so far this year.
And there are 100 of rentals.
So
So,
that's 19 rentals.
yeah, so,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Now, about the street light, we were supposed to, I called Duquesne Light about a street light on Bowden, between Bowden and Broad. And they didn't get back to me, so I called them back again, and they just said they've been so busy with the storms and the outages. Yeah, but they're still looking.
Do you know the poll number by chance?
Not up here,
That's okay.
no. I think it's like 39, 36, but I'm not
If you have any issues with that, let me know. I've got a back door for that.
Ooh. Okay, I will. Yeah, and that's really it for the lights and the park. Oh, yeah.
Good. We already talked about the zoning thing, the update, so. Solicitor, do you,
Excuse me, Bob.
go ahead, Bill.
Did somebody leave their human milk candy in the men's room? Found this on the sink. That's mine. Okay. That's not good.
Bob, I don't have anything for all this.
Okay. Mayor,
Yes. I just want to have a quick roundup of the Beaver Falls Neighborhood Watch meeting that I went to at the end of September. The main speaker was a woman from the Women's Center of Beaver County. She's very interesting and explained everything they do, and they have money from Shell Plant to start on their new building. She went into detail of how many people stay there, how many rooms there are, and also a building for the men that also go there. Another just regular business when they talk to their citizens. And I gotta tell you, all Beaver Falls, I mean, that includes all of Beaver Falls. You can all come down, but these meetings are very good. Electric golf carts are legal, as long as they
I
have.
seen
all
an
the-
older fella running his up and down the street a lot in Beaver Falls.
Yeah, I think that's Ronnie.
Yeah.
But
You have to have a
anyway,
plate though, right? As long as you have a plate on it,
Plates,
or
seat belts, lights,
lights,
everything has to
turn
be,
signals and all that stuff.
yeah, everything has to be on.
Registration.
He was holding up a big long line of
Registration?
traffic.
yeah,
Okay, so anyway, the next one's at the end of this month, so I wait to see, and then I'll start updating everyone. That's all I have for old.
Can we run golf carts around this community?
They're legal.
Or Beaver Falls. Electric's
All right,
good.
thanks,
Okay.
Mayor. I'm gonna go get me a golf cart.
Has to be electric.
Okay.
Oh my
Of
God.
course. All right, Chief, you got anything for us? All right,
Okay, here we
let's go to new business, streets, buildings, or whatever, Jake.
Okay, first up on the list is leaf pickup dates need to be determined. Are we gonna stick with our original, or can we
What
just,
do we do, 1st of November, is that how we did that?
yeah, it was usually the first.
It was October.
It was October.
October and
Yeah,
November, I
Okay.
think, yeah.
October and November.
Well, when they start piling them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they start piling them up, we'll get that on there. Let it,
What's the date?
so it's kind of to be determined. If the leaves fall late this year,
When you start seeing piles.
I don't want
That's the
people
date.
calling up here every day saying, hey, I have a pile, and you're the
Yeah.
only person in town that has a pile.
Right,
Will
right.
you let me know when you have a date?
I will definitely do that. we'll let the citizens know when that time comes.
Is the machine ready?
The machine's ready.
Good. Truck's ready, machine's ready, everything good.
So as far as that goes, yeah, we want to use the big truck to tote that thing around. So Brian was doing a little inspection on the Chevy dump truck, and it's going to need brakes and rotors very shortly before winter. I figured I would let everyone know, but I think it came out to what, $350 for the brakes and rotors. Actually, you know what? I have it.
I think you were telling us that when you first started back. That it was going to be needing brakes.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, I lied. Okay.
Like never ending.
$857 for brakes and
Whoa,
rotors.
that's different. Yeah.
Yep. It's a little different.
Just a little bit
Oh,
different.
all four.
That's for the whole four corners.
That's
Yep.
why. Okay.
But the positive side of things is that truck will be no more by the time it needs new brakes, rotors, and
Yeah, I was just wondering if it was to that point already.
we're gonna keep using it, Bill. Cause that's all we got. No, that truck runs good, right, Brian?
What are we using it for? What do we do with it now?
Usually to haul around the heavier equipment. Anytime we've like the leaf machine.
The pickup truck?
No, the big truck, the big
Oh, I thought
Chevy
you said
truck.
it was the pickup truck.
No,
Chevy
this
dump.
is for the big
Oh, the
Chevy
dump.
dump.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we gotta fix that.
Do I need to get approval for that? To spend $850 for the maintenance on that truck?
I wouldn't hurt. I'll make a motion to buy it.
I'll second it.
There we go.
Opposed?
Cover it either way.
Brian, when you're ready to do brakes and rotors, help yourself.
Get it done.
Okay, next. This was kind of an emergency deal. The handle on the Ford F-550 has been wonky, and so that truck there, on that truck body, there's a handle it's a latch to open the tailgate up and down. Well, the cable doesn't work. You can't make the thing go up and down. So we did have to replace that. Do you remember it was $130? $130. We had to replace that this week. I made the what do they call that? Executive decision to purchase that.
It's over $100, Jake.
I know, Pat. I'm so sorry, but the guys needed to close the tailgate. Okay. In preparation for winter, because that's coming up soon. We're trying to be ahead of the game this year.
You forgot the steering pump.
Well,
While you're on
yeah.
maintenance.
Okay. Well, that's also on maintenance too. But
Oh, Lord.
the little truck, if you guys decide you want to keep that truck, it's not going to take much to get it back to where it needs to be. It has no power steering right now, and the exhaust needs a little
That's
bit
why I was
more.
asking what the problem was.
Yes.
Is it already at the point where it needs to be gone?
So as far as power steering goes and exhaust work goes, it's probably going to need that to pass inspection. So we either get to off that truck with the way that it sits, or spend $500 and get it put back together. Council's decision.
That's the little pickup.
That's the little
That's
pickup.
why I was asking, what do we use it for?
How often are we using the little pickup?
They use it quite a bit. That's what they use to get around town.
It's better to use that than to put all the miles on the big trucks.
And I think we should
If
repair it.
we're utilizing it, yeah.
Do we have the money to do it this year, or should we wait till next year?
We never have the money. Just
I know.
When's the,
Do you know when the inspection's up on that truck? It's coming up soon. It's already up.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's up.
wonderful.
then
So-
we need to do
Then we
it.
gotta do it now. We gotta do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's an emergency, so,
green light.
okay.
You're gonna
Um,
be busy, Brian.
next up on the list, again preparing for
So,
winter. We've got the big salter. The only thing that we need as far as winter gear goes, the bearings need replaced in the big salter, and bearings are not that expensive. Did you get a price on those yet?
No, I didn't. They're usually around $20 a piece.
I'm just gonna mention it. That's the only thing that we have to worry about as of right now. That's good to go. Speaking of winter, we're gonna need to order a drum, or not a drum, but a 5-gallon bucket of fluid film. The fluid film is the oil that we spray on these trucks that are in the salt all day, every day. It prevents rust and corrosion from brake lines and rotors and frames and all that other good fancy stuff.
Okey-dokey.
Well, it's considered oil and there's money in the
Yeah,
oil.
they're making stuff
Yep,
good.
Yeah.
so we are gonna be purchasing that, and the guys are going to be spraying again. The last few years, those trucks haven't been sprayed, and it's starting to show.
Okay.
That's part of your routine maintenance.
Craig Street Alley project, we already talked about that. The guys, okay, so, I had a question this last week about insurance for the guys. I know that we discussed that before we hired Brian, and I'm pretty sure we discussed that. Finance and litigation guys discussed something about that with Gerald. The hiring committee, whoever the hiring committee was.
Me and
I was
Jason.
not a part of that,
Me and-
so if you guys have any input for that, or if you guys,
I don't think
Wanna-
that we have anything in our handbook.
No, I don't think so.
no. So they were,
We
all
haven't
I'm,
had insurance for employees for years.
yep. It was mentioned to me, I figured I'd bring it up, you guys discuss it, and let me know what you come up with.
Date.
Okay.
I will ask, there was something else I was gonna ask. Oh, also, Kevin, if you would, you can put out another little thing. If you see something, say something, basically. The street department is always willing to take any concerns or comments on issues pertaining to their roads, streets, or any of that other
You're
stuff.
asking for it now.
Oh.
Hold on.
No, I mean, it is what it is, and those comment things will actually work really good. It actually helps me get the information, I make a quick reply back to them, and I send it right over to my guys, and they handle it. So, I mean,
Okey dokey.
it's been working. Thanks, Kevin.
All right, is that it?
That's all I got.
All right,
Thank God.
thank you.
Okay.
Lou, fire and police.
Did you say something about you had water pump?
Water pump? No
What
water
did
pump.
you say about a pump?
Power steering.
Power steering.
Oh, power steering.
Yeah, no power steering. Gerald's arms are getting big, man.
They are.
Okay, under new business, Bob, we replaced our air conditioners now. It's a fire hall, so now we can start renting out the building, which we have a couple rentals already. That's why I put down and I was gonna run a buffer and the floors that we redone and everything. I wanna buff them all up and everything, so to make the hall look nice. And
Okay.
I know how to use
I have a
one of those.
comment on
I do.
this committee that Kevin formed.
No, I didn't
did-
form it, Lou. This was formed
Council,
by
you know
council.
what? I'm talking.
Get it straight, please.
No.
Get the
You-
facts straight.
I have the floor, shut your mouth.
Lou,
Anyways.
council did form this committee.
Well,
not
whoever
Kevin.
did it.
Okay.
Okay.
It's nothing against the committee. The only thing is,
Yeah.
when he formed this committee, he asked, or they formed it, that they would like to have fire department people there.
Right.
Okay, I got fire department people, okay? I went back to Kevin and I said, Kevin, I got a committee, but we can't make that night for meetings. I said, can we change it to another night? And I said, I have a committee. And his answer says, no, that's the date I picked and that's the time.
Okay.
And that's why fire department didn't go there, the committee, because I couldn't get all my committee together for that date.
You formed a committee to go to that committee.
Yeah,
Okay.
like you asked, the people asked. And that's why the fire department didn't show up.
Lou, we did it for 8 months.
Yeah.
You were welcome every month. Every month, anybody was welcome.
Why couldn't you
But he's
change the
referring
date?
to in July, there was a time that wanted the
Correct.
fire department to do that.
Correct.
And the fire department wasn't ready because I was just pulling out information and they were pulling information and we couldn't make the deadline. So we said, can we move it, have a
Change
meeting
it.
date? And they said, no, you were given a date and that's it.
I did question Kevin about that,
And
All right,
which-
that's all.
but that's what we agreed
Okay.
on.
Bill,
What I've also just passed out to you is stuff that at that meeting was asked for. This is the last 4 years of calls from that meeting. And it has the heading, I'll have to look at it myself. The quantity, like structural fires, how many non-burn structural fires we have. we responded to motor vehicle accidents, trees down with wires, non-borough trees down, and it has a listing of all the type of calls that were answered and how many of those calls we had that year. And you look at the next column and say how many times that year we got mutual aid versus how many times we gave mutual aid.
I was just gonna ask what those
Now,
mean.
let me ask you this.
What did those mean?
Now,
Mutual aid received, that means you went to the fire and some other fire department
mutual aid
came to help
received,
you.
we had a fire call and we called in mutual aid.
Okay. And then
Mutual aid given means
you went to
somebody else
them
had a fire
and you went.
and we went to their fire call. They called us for help.
So, how come we never get anything like this? Like your year-end
every month.
reports?
Because for,
The last-
like
what
Kevin
was
said,
it?
for 15, 30 years, it was never asked for. It was never brought up. Council never asked it. I do know that fire department came back here and reports and said, hey, you've had 7 fire calls for the year, for so much. Just read it here again. We've had that thing through there. Council hasn't had any interest in it either until recently.
Pat, have you ever gotten a year-end report like this?
No, because it's never been asked for.
But you asked,
So,
she turns in a year-end report every year, and last year, the report was 90 gallons of fuel, right? Am I right with that?
I don't know
Yeah,
what it was.
you're right, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that, yeah.
But,
Yeah,
but,
that's,
but when you,
that's
how-
all we've ever gotten was like reports on.
That's all,
That was
all we
fuel
always
reports.
did was.
But so-
Because for years, that's all was ever asked.
Yeah,
That's all it was
yes,
asked for.
and that was addressed in our review meetings.
So we didn't say it wasn't.
No, but what I'm saying is, a lot of it is on council also.
It is.
it doesn't
It's as
seem
much
like
on
it
council.
jives.
So-
It's as much on council as it is on the fire department. I will say that. Because it's a two-way street. Communication hasn't
Correct.
gone back and forth. I agree with
And
that.
we've lost that
Okay.
years
So-
ago.
So, why don't I
Haven't
propose
had it
this?
since I've been on.
Instead
there.
of,
Yeah.
Mike, can I talk?
go ahead.
Oh. Hey, you know, go ahead.
You're right,
Instead,
since you were,
we, you know,
first got on
we
council.
asked that just before I got on council. When I was emergency management, it wasn't happening. I wasn't on council. Those reports weren't requested. Even, like you said, his dad, Paul Farkas, was chief of the fire department. He was president of the fire department, and he was president of the council, and those reports were not requested. They're not required. And nobody said, so if
Okay.
you don't ask, nobody gives. We need to change that. I don't disagree.
Yes,
That
yes.
needs to change.
Okay, what does this mean?
Does what mean?
Fire and police.
Yeah, well, anyway, that's committed.
Yeah, so he gives us his,
Yes.
what do we get?
You get our fire,
You get, we need
Fire.
to get.
No,
Yeah,
because
got a fire
up
call.
until this year, whenever I
Yeah.
told you to start bringing in reports,
never
it was always, Wendy,
Yeah.
what do you have for police and fire?
It was
Nothing.
never asked for.
it was
prior to
never
this.
asked for prior to
Those things were
that.
never there.
They've
That
been
format was
coming
never put
in
there.
now.
Once the format's put there, they're trying to comply.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're trying to comply. I agree.
Got it.
I agree with a lot of things that are happening. There needs to be change. I don't disagree with that at all.
Correct.
Okay.
My concern is we're eliminating something we don't need to eliminate. Or going to try to eliminate.
It's not a witch hunt, Bill.
I didn't say it was.
We're not eliminating anything yet.
I know that. I said we're trying.
Okay, now this is what I would suggest.
Oh, how come you get to talk uninterrupted? I get interrupted
Go
constantly.
ahead, I thought you were done.
Because every
Go
time I
ahead.
stop, take a breath, you jump in.
Well, you're jumpable.
Thank you.
No problem.
All I'm saying is the fire department recognizes there's issues. And I've told this to everybody. There's 6 people that live in this borough that are members of that fire department, only 6. Many times if I've asked this council, somebody here, here's some applications, please join and help us fix it. No, don't condemn it, let's fix it from within. 'Cause that's
How do you
what- that's
suppose,
what-
how do you recommend?
Join the fire department, get in and make the changes that you feel need done. If you don't feel the current people are doing that, join it. I say that same thing to all the citizens. Join it. If you're not happy there, fix it. Don't destroy it. Don't destroy it. Fix it from within. And you do that by coming in. Are you all right? You gonna be all right?
No.
Oh, you're making all these funny noises.
Well, I'm not all right with it.
Well, that's your opinion.
Okay. All right.
And that's what we're saying. We went around, they got petitions, Jason, how many you got there?
220.
220 petitions from businesses and borough citizens that say that they want to support the fire department. I don't know, we took applications, I don't know if we got any applications, but I sent
A
applications
lot
out
of them
with,
are elderly, they can't really handle it.
yeah, and that's an issue here.
Yes.
This fire department used to be a really great fire department.
I agree.
Years ago.
You're saying
I agree.
that you used to be a great fire
It's
department.
still
We
can be.
were a great fire department. We used to go to Beaver Falls and cover when they had a fire call. They used to call us down to their station. And we did. We went down and covered, and we handled calls. I had a very good working relationship with Mark, at least I thought I did. Did I not? Yeah, okay. Yeah, we worked well.
You were like,
The things changed, and I understand it, but we need to, instead of destroying it, we need to go back together and say, let's fix it. Some of that stuff can't be fixed because there's issues there. I don't disagree. Unless we get people in there who can make the changes happen. It's just like here. It requires a vote. You know, you want to talk about decertifying, first of all, you can't decertify the fire department. You don't have the authority. All you can do is say we no longer want your service. You can't decertify them. You're not bloody for that. They are meeting the requirements that they have as far as basic. Firefighter 1 is fantastic. I support it. But it's also laborious and cumbersome and hard to do to get people there, especially when you only have such a limited body of people. And when you got a fire department that's paid and has all the help, it makes it great. We need to work together on this. We work with, we talked about leadership in the fire department. I'm going to bounce around because I don't have a prepared speech. Our fire department is small. Like I said, we have 6 people, and we have, how many outside members we got now? Probably more than we have inside.
Yeah.
But you talked about leadership in the fire department. Yet, this fire department, to my knowledge, I've been in the fire department for 40 years. I don't want to say I don't know about the first couple, but for most of those years, I can only recall one fire fatality in the borough. One. That was, I won't mention her name, but she had candles and oxygen going and couldn't make it.
Oh, I know.
That's the only fire fatality that we've had in this borough in my tenure here, to my knowledge. That's a pretty good record. If you look at the fire department, we just had a fire a couple of years back at the corner of my street on that. They didn't demolish that house. It wasn't taken down to a foundation. They rebuilt it because it was rebuilt. Insurance didn't say it's a total loss. They rebuilt it. If they said it was a total loss, it wouldn't have got rebuilt. That's been several houses. You show me a house in the borough that we've lost a foundation. The last time I can remember a house going to a foundation was down over the hill. Was it McDermott fire?
Wasn't there one on Matilda too? I wasn't around then, but
No, but I think there was one down in the, when Wiley Goat was chief. No, I take it back. Ron Casey was the chief. He was the chief. That one got burned down. The fire department is making decisions. Are there a lot of people there to respond at once? No. They're not the only fire department doing that. Every fire department, anywhere in this county and probably the state that has a structural fire, the first thing they do is ring out their mutual aid. Every one of them, just like West Mayfield. And because of that program that they put together, because of their leadership, they put that out there. They made that mutual aid agreement, and that's what's doing it. That's what's working. When that fire bell goes off, you don't get just one, you get 3 or 4 other departments. The way Township responds, Patterson responds.
Patterson rates.
You know, they are working together. You're Chippewa. The only one that doesn't come is Beaver Falls. The reason Beaver Falls doesn't come, because if you remember, I don't know, what, 4 years ago, we had the same discussion about Beaver Falls.
2 years ago.
Whatever it was, I think it was more than that, but anyhow, they come up at our meeting. And their assistant chief at the time, I don't know who it was, sitting there and told me that I didn't care about my citizens. And I said, you're wrong, I do, or I wouldn't be arguing, I wouldn't be talking. But at the end of the meeting, the last thing he said, if you don't sign this contract, we will not respond to this borough unless you pay for truck, man, and officer by the hour. Can you afford that? We sure couldn't. So we had no choice but to take them off mutual aid. They were coming until that point.
I'd like to address that.
They were coming till that point.
I'd like to address that, please.
Go ahead.
Thank you. First off, we weren't coming up to that point. Let's face the facts.
What's
We
the
were
statement,
not.
what's the statement made?
What was the statement made?
Well, you just said it
we
was
would
not.
have to consider
What's that?
charging because, listen, we have a lot of expenses. And why the statement was made, let's talk about the Knapp Street fire and what happened. You want to talk about that fire?
No, I don't. I want to talk about
Fine, I don't
this
think
statement
we do,
here.
because I'll talk about it. I will talk about it.
I don't care.
But listen, did you get charged, or did anybody get charged when we come up to West Third? Did anyone get charged?
No.
No, thank you. Thank you. You know, we came up there because we listened on the radio when they said someone was trapped. We responded on our own because the Beaver Falls Fire Department does not want to see anybody die in a fire. I don't care where it's at.
Nor do we.
And nor do you, that's right. And we responded. You know what? This has gotten so far out of control. The New Brighton Fire Department comes to your fires, drives past our fire station, and we have a manned station. We have at least 3 men on duty all times. The New Brighton Fire Department. Is that good for the citizens?
Does Chippewa come to your fire calls?
Yes, they do.
They drive right by our station.
Okay.
Right behind.
They do.
The points are the same. The only point I
And
said,
I'll tell
Mark,
you why the
the
Chippewa
only
Fire
point
Department.
I made was that statement was made at the meeting. You do not deny that.
And did anyone call and talk to us about it? Did anyone call?
No.
I look around this room and I can't even imagine. We could be in this borough within 5 minutes of dispatch. If we are dispatched immediately, our apparatus would be here within 5 minutes every time to the front door of anybody's house with a full crew of professional, certified, trained firefighters that will make a difference. That will make a difference. In fact, the West 3rd Street fire, their guys rescued a dog and saved the dog.
And we had you guys coming on every one of those calls, did we not? When we had structural fires, did we not call you? Did we not call you?
When you were the chief, yes. That's why I said, did we have a good working relationship when you were chief? I agree with you.
Yeah.
We did.
And that's what I said, we need to
We
get
did.
back to that. But the
Well,
reason
then
you guys
nobody
quit coming to
ever
the
called
calls
to
was because of
talk.
that statement.
All I hear is the false statements that gets turned around all the time about Beaver Falls is going to do this, Beaver Falls is going to charge for that, Beaver Falls is going to charge for false alarms. Beaver Falls don't charge anyone for false alarms. We charge one thing, the insurance company, and most other fire departments do. And it has no effect on anybody's policy. The policy...
It's going to.
Huh?
You know it's going to.
No.
The premiums are going to go up when that happens.
What makes it go up is the claim. It's not. It's no different than if you're involved in an accident and you call a tow truck. It's no different.
You pay for the tow truck.
The insurance company does. It doesn't cause your claim to go up. The claim causes the insurance. You can argue it all you want. We've been doing it for 20 years. I have not got one complaint from a citizen. Not one complaint.
Okay.
And it doesn't raise your insurance. The claim does. Why wouldn't you charge your insurance company? You're sitting here, I hear all this talk about needing money. I question, why wouldn't you charge the insurance company? It's already in the policy. Seriously. Take advantage of something that's already there to fund your fire department. Honest. That's all. I just don't like the facts that or the facts that get changed around, because listen, we would never charge a citizen, okay? We only charge the insurance company. What was said, nobody ever called to talk about it, okay?
But it was said.
I'm the assistant chief.
And that's
I was
why
the
it was
assistant
said.
chief, and that was not said. Find me in the minutes where that was said. What you said was actually said. It wasn't.
Because when you said that,
I'm saying you're
when
lying.
you said that, I turned right to you and said, now who doesn't care about our citizens now?
Show me somewhere where that's written down that that was said.
Council
You
members
made
here
believe.
over there should remember that. I don't know if that's put word for word verbatim in the minutes.
I apologize for getting out of control. I would just say this. We do care about the protection of no matter who it is. And it frustrates me because we want to make certain that everybody is protected. That's all. And I don't want to argue with you about it.
I'm not going to argue with you either. But I have a question though. Now that you make that statement, you know what?
So that's an excuse. You saying that I said that.
Go ahead, Bill.
You're not going to charge us, so if we put you back on mutual aid,
Put us back.
you have a problem with that?
Put us back. Come meet with us. Honestly, come meet with us.
I don't see why they wouldn't. That wouldn't make sense to do.
Well, yeah. I just, you know, it just.
Has this fire department made mistakes in the past? Yeah. Has your fire department ever made any
Everybody
mistakes?
makes mistakes.
Everybody
I'm not gonna sit here and
does.
say we don't make mistakes.
Everybody does.
That would be
But I
ridiculous.
can't see taking this fire department apart, dismantling it for no reason other than things that would happen in the past that really weren't part of the fire department, personal issues that were out there, and destroying it. Let's save what we got. Why dismantle it? That's
I'd like
right.
to make a recommendation here. We can argue about this all night, but why don't we set up a town hall? You guys can tell your side.
Well, we are
We
here.
can listen to the community. We can listen to the fire departments and then make a judgment. I don't want to just,
You
I
have
don't
a
want to just,
community right here. We did the
I don't want
survey.
to argue about this all night.
Now,
200 some people, and we didn't get every house because people didn't answer.
well, I understand that, Bill.
And a lot of
Did you
people-
take a,
and a lot of
did you,
people, a lot of people only said, I'll sign for the entire house instead of getting their spots.
okay, now did
Well,
you
that was
have a
nice.
petition that says that, did anybody send a petition around that says we want a new fire department? You got 200, how many people were in this borough? You might get 800 people that
Did
says
it say on that
they want a
petition that we
new.
only have 6? Yes, it did.
So,
Yes, it did. It said
that's
there's
why I
only 6
said, I
members
think we
on
should,
it.
instead of arguing about it all night tonight, let's,
I don't want to argue about it. I'm not arguing.
Well, I
I'm
think we
stating
should have a
fact.
town hall.
All right, well, I have some questions. Here's,
People left. What do you want?
how long does it take you to respond?
here, don't
How long does it take you to respond when we get a fire call?
He would know better on his time, some me.
How long does it take you to respond on a fire call?
If we're close to the station, probably somewhere to Beaver Falls. But where they have paint guys in the station, we
We
work
have to
jobs.
respond. Yeah, just like us.
We have the Heights, the township, they all make it there immediately. We have a good crew that answers all calls. I have 4 fire departments, as soon as that call comes in, and 911 are responding immediately. They're all qualified, all of them. And I just think that's a disgrace to them by saying, I just want to say my piece,
Mayor.
that's all.
Okay. I think this is just my opinion about all of this. Council is what it is, and there's always been fire department on this council. This was set up with the majority, with everyone unanimous voting on this committee. Not every single meeting was on this night that there was people in your group that you set up to come that could not make it. There were some Saturday meetings. There were meetings available to your people. We just didn't have the input for the help that we needed and asked for. We would have set up conference calls. We could have set up
Zoom thing.
Zooms in, yes.
None of that was offered.
Okay, can I
Yes,
ask a
go
question?
ahead.
Was that ever communicated to them
No,
that
no,
there
no,
were
no.
other days that were available?
Well, wait a minute, I didn't run the meetings.
Okay,
There could have been other strategies done. There could have been,
I'm just trying to,
but you are.
yeah, I'm not.
There's just, I see the drawback just from all my centennial committees, meetings. I changed, every week we'd have, towards the last 6 months, we had a meeting every week, and I changed and I changed and I changed, and I never saw you or Eli come to any more meetings. You all just quit coming.
I came to a couple.
That's what she's saying.
That's what I'm saying, you quit coming.
Eli told me he quit coming because of the things that was going on that weren't legal.
Okay, well, you know what, this is where
just
the
telling you what he told me.
hearsay and the innuendos start. And all this that you brought up with the, and all this research that was done because it was research and it's fact. Everything on the petition that you went, and I gotta tell you, I know mine, I'm only talking because of what all my friends and all the people heard that signed your petition. The finger was pointed at me quite a bit. So, no, okay, hearsay and innuendo again. I'm going away this weekend for a week, and the people I'm going with have all heard my name. The mayor did this, the mayor promised Lou this, the mayor did this, the mayor did that. Whatever, that's where hearsay and innuendo come from. And it just goes around. So, you got your signatures, you have over 200. This is our research.
Yeah.
We didn't say we're knocking you out, we're throwing you out, we're sending you out. We're just sort of,
Yes, it did, right at the very end, the committee recommends decertification.
the committee recommended
That's what I said.
That's not council.
39,
Well, she wasn't on the committee.
39,
36.
36. Yeah, just things. We wanted your input, your help. Where could we help you? We think there would be this input. We wanted your input. Do you not want help? That's what we see. That's the perception I would see. You don't want help. You got help from Norfolk and Southern. That's a celebration in itself. You couldn't celebrate that to council and exclaim, look what they gave us. We're so
I
thankful. We're
believe
so
that was reported
happy.
to council.
What?
That was reported to council.
I heard 3 different amounts.
Well, I don't know what the amount was.
Wow,
I couldn't
there
tell
you
that
go.
myself.
Well, the amount was everything we lost and they paid to replace it. We
So
didn't
you got
make-
new
we didn't
uniforms
make a
and
penny
face
on it.
masks and everything?
Well, we're going to. We didn't get them
They didn't
yet.
have any face masks going out there. They was responded as rehab,
Yeah,
which
rehab.
is something else that the fire department does and has spent anywhere from 15 to 20 grand on equipment for one of 2 fire departments in the county that offer rehab, firefighter rehab and functional. If people have I was gonna talk to the chief about this thing going on down at the corner tavern. Maybe we ought to be taking our tent down there and setting it up for fire, for rehab, for refreshments like water and keep them cool. I haven't had a chance to talk to them about that, whether they want that, whether they need it, I don't know.
I ask for that every winter
Well, okay.
hot flash.
for a warming
That
center.
was way at the beginning, and you know what they're doing down there is all going to that family. So I don't know what kind of fundraiser you wanna have to mix with that family that lost so much.
And the rest of the thing, I'm saying, we got 200 and some things. I know you
Okay.
guys did a survey, and I challenged that survey when it first came out. Because they said 78% of the borough doesn't have faith in the fire department. Well, that was a false statement. It wasn't 78% of the borough. It was 78% of those that responded.
I responded.
There
to
was
you.
41
I
response.
communicated
There
that
was
to you.
41 response.
I communicated that to you.
After I asked.
Those figures were
After I asked, it was
of
communicated.
those who
to me.
responded.
I let you speak, please.
Don't mislead this.
You
You're
were.
misleading.
You were, because you said 78%, a super majority of the borough. It wasn't. It was the majority of the people that responded to the survey.
All right.
The survey was 41 people. Wait a minute, he got 20, 30 minutes. You're gonna cut me off?
You gotta have that.
He had 41 people respond, and now I find out, according to his last notification, that 20% of those people don't live in the borough. They were former residents of the borough. They don't live in the borough.
That's incorrect.
Did we go get that?
That's incorrect.
6.
None of them were on the
That's
petition.
incorrect, Bill.
Well, that's what you put down, the 20% were former residents.
No, that's incorrect.
That's what I read in your report.
60% had former experience as firefighters.
No, that's not what I read. I said 20% live outside the borough.
I'm sorry, you may be misreading that.
I might be.
I'll double check it.
Either way, you got 41 people. How many, did any of your committee people sign that? Any of your committee people fill out that survey?
Yes.
They did. How many people were on your committee?
Did you not hear as I explained this?
I just asked a simple
there are
question.
10
How many people were on the committee? 7, 8?
There are 10 people on the committee.
Thank you. Their spouses also fill that out? So out of your survey, you already got 41, you take away 10. You don't see one firefighter name on that report there that from the city. We didn't do it because we didn't want to put that on there. But yet your committee did. So that takes away part of, to me, of that big, powerful supermajority.
Committees are citizens.
So I don't think that that's right.
They're citizens
All I'm,
too.
so are we, but we wouldn't write on there to say we're gonna do that.
You could, it's
We
not
could,
gonna,
but we
is
didn't
it gonna
feel
make any
we're trying to do
difference?
that.
And Lacey is right. I heard many things about when they went around with the petition. Many statements that were made. Anti-you, anti-you, anti-you. Just totally degrading us, totally degrading everything
Yeah, I
that
heard
we
my-
did.
I never- my
Billy,
name
never degraded you.
did I say you did?
Did I ever take it? Did I ever degrade you?
No, because I would have came over your house.
I asked questions. Did I ever degrade you? Right?
My name was
I never
mentioned.
Yeah.
My name,
And I'm on the
my name was
committee.
mentioned in his report.
My name was mentioned. I'm on the committee. I showed up at one meeting and decided I don't want to be a part of what he's doing. I never filled out anything. He sent that petition out. I never, not a petition thing. I never filled it out. I said, I'm the president of the council. I'm just going to hear all sides. I went to one meeting and walked away.
Let me
I
ask you
said,
this,
"That's
then."
not-"
So, what I'm telling you.
But my name was brought into it.
Yes.
I
it
didn't
was.
bring
because
it
of
in. I don't know
me.
who brought it up.
That,
Whoever was
that this is
walking
all
around
going
there.
on.
walking, I didn't bring it.
I don't know if it was you, Jason.
was walking.
Oh, he walked a lot of it. He didn't.
I don't know who it was.
Nothing
No, I know
was
there's
said.
some people, in the borough that don't have fond memories of
Anything
it.
about it.
And people down Rock Alley.
All right, can I say something? I haven't had anything to say
Doesn't bother
at
me
all.
none.
know you're
I know.
Can I say one more thing?
No. It's my turn.
All right.
I have sat here and I have stayed quiet through 99% of this. Years ago, I myself have told everybody at the fire department, if you need anything, please reach out. I have a lot of resources. I have a lot of equipment. I can do a lot of things. And there has been times Lou has asked me to do certain things. They know that I don't have the time to volunteer to do that. I've got way too much stuff on my plate. I have heard from their side, I've heard from a lack. I don't know how many times I have came to you guys. I've never badmouthed you when it came to what you guys do, ever. All I would offer suggestions, as much as I could. Anytime we showed up to these things to try and get information, I was always shut down. Every time I tried to open you guys up to try and get you more money, I'll volunteer my time. Other community members that have things to do, we have all reached our hands out at some point in time to this fire department. And the fire department smacks it down almost every single time.
I disagree with that.
How many times did I donate to your fire department?
Yes, you
How
did.
many?
Bill, listen, I'm not finished. You may disagree to an extent because me and you have not had that interaction. But there are other people
Say that
within
again,
that
you
fire
may what?
department, me and you, like the way you say you disagree, like how you may agree with, us doing something or reaching out or doing something. But there's always one person within that fire department that thinks it's a terrible idea, and for some reason, it's a bad idea.
I don't disagree with that.
That's exactly what
I
happens.
don't disagree with that.
The end
And
result
that's part of the
here,
reason why I said we need more membership.
only reason we are
change
sitting
that.
here today, the only reason we're sitting here today is to better our fire department for our people. That's it. End.
And I don't
We want
disagree.
to have the best resource available for our people. Now,
Our safety.
if something happens, and I've heard this multiple times, and it's happened in other communities where there's so much bullshit drama all the time, and there's so much political bullshit that happens all the time. Do you think I care if my house is on fire, if Beaver Falls comes over here and puts my goddamn fire out? No. When I hear your guys' calls, I listen. Everybody in this community has the opportunity to do that with this phone right here. Every single person. And I listen. And I want to hear what's going on. And you know how often I hear certain things like, 99, please respond to this. And then they'll tone out. White Township, Patterson, whatever else. And Beaver Falls gets told, turn around, we don't want you. We can't invite Beaver Falls up here because we haven't put our eyes on it yet.
I never told them to turn
That's
around.
what you guys have done this entire time.
Okay, let's get
So-
this
so-
meeting under
so-
control.
All right, that's it. We need a town hall meeting. We're done talking about it tonight. we could discuss this till midnight. We need a town hall meeting and somebody needs to set it up. Who's in charge of setting up town hall meetings? We're not gonna do this anymore.
Yeah, we're not getting nowhere.
We're not getting anywhere, I agree. All I'm saying is just help us rebuild it, don't tear it down.
You have your opportunity.
Can I make, I want to acknowledge, Bill, 20%, yes, 20% of the folks who did a survey do not live in the borough, but they're former members. We don't
Yeah, that's what I said.
We don't let up to people who just
I said that.
don't live here.
I said that.
These people had experience of
20%,
having lived here, yes.
20% of the borough
You're
were
correct.
former members that no longer live in the borough.
So
Okay,
next
moving
month,
on.
next month, can we vote on this? Can I put that on the table that we vote on this issue next month? Whatever
Well, let's
happens,
have a town hall meeting. We have to be able to set up a town
Yeah,
hall
we
meeting.
have to.
so set up a town hall meeting, but after the town hall meeting, council needs to sit down and have a decision made.
Depends on what time you have the meeting.
Yeah, well, I would love to make it
The sooner
tonight.
the better. Make it for next week, make it for 2 weeks from now. It doesn't take long to make
It
it
has
happen.
to be advertised.
We
We
can
have to have a
advertise.
place to have it. We
We can
can't have a
have it- we
town
can have
hall
it at the fire
meeting here.
Lou just said we can have it at the fire department.
Fire department.
Oh, yeah.
How long do you think it'll take for the ad?
It takes at least
I'm going away
3 or
next
4
Thursday
days
for a week.
to get it in.
Yeah,
At least 3 or 4 days.
Unless we make
and
it
how long before the meeting
Fine.
does it have to be?
Well, you only got 7 days
Yeah,
minimum,
Hash it out.
Whatever.
7 days.
I just don't wanna destroy it, I'd rather rebuild.
Well,
what we
and
can.
the fire department has their time to step up now, to get their stuff in order, to present the facts to the people when we're sitting up there at the town hall meeting, and beg for mercy on your fire department. Every single person here has shown mercy on that fire department at some point in time, whether you believe that shit or not. That's the way that it's been. Everybody has, the only people, everybody cares. Everybody wants to help. But you don't have to be a fireman to help. Like, I get talked bad on a lot. And I have always, anytime you guys have called.
You do to a certain extent have to.
All right, guys, let's set up a meeting, okay? Let's set up
All right. So, when do you think the ad can go in, Pat? Because, you
well,
know,
it's
tomorrow's
gonna
Friday.
take, I know, it's gonna take 3 or 4 days to get it in, so if I put it in tomorrow,
Right.
it's
If they
probably,
don't put anything in on the Monday
there's
online
no
edition,
Mondays.
Hey, Mark, thanks for coming, bud.
I would say, if you send something tomorrow,
Okay,
the earliest would be Tuesday or Wednesday.
yeah,
So Tuesday,
and then it has to be 7 days after that.
Wednesday. 7 days from the date the ad runs, no sooner than that.
November 30th or
14 days?
first week of October.
I'll be back on the 27th, so anytime after that for me.
Okay, wait a minute, let me, okay, today is the 12th, the ad will go in on the 17th,
Correct.
which means,
I was thinking like the 30th or maybe the first week of October.
You know, you want to try for the 17th, but there's a chance they may say the 18th.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You gotta get it in tomorrow in either respect.
Yeah, I have to get it in tomorrow, so how do we want to do this? And we need to set a date, because I can't put it in the paper if I don't have a date.
You'd probably want to
I'll
make
be
it,
back on the 26th, so anytime after that.
well, I was just gonna say, you want to make it the 26th or later. You can make it
27th or later.
What day is that?
But Bob's not gonna be here.
That's a
Yeah,
Thursday when I
yeah,
come
let's
back.
make it Wednesday, the 25th, before Bob gets back.
You know what, I wouldn't have a problem with that, to tell you the truth, because that's gonna be a long meeting, I think.
Okay,
I'm fine with the
October
30th.
1st.
September 30th,
What day is that?
Monday.
that is a Monday.
Monday. Perfect.
That's before the next meeting.
So it's gonna be a town hall meeting to discuss,
Yeah, as soon as fire department and Okay, we got a
And
date
it's
now.
gonna be at the power hall.
What time? 6 o'clock?
yeah, let's, yeah.
Yeah, you better, for clarity's sake, what are you gonna put in
Something I
the
found.
purpose of the meeting, the subject of the meeting is?
What do you think it should be?
What are you gonna state the subject?
Like an hour and a half ago.
No, not future the borough. Make it This is a
I'm trying
fire,
to think. You don't want to make it too long, because you pay for the awards, so,
a fire department restructure.
well, that might be like a foregone conclusion, then. You don't want to say that.
No.
Fire,
Conjecture.
community.
To put, the discussion of fire department issue,
Okay.
plural.
Issues.
We're not.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it in discussion of fire department issue.
CCWM.
This is on
Okay, that one.
Right.
Okay, we ready to back that?
We come out now.
That's the Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
Save that kind of stuff together.
I'll save it for that.
Okay.
Never mind, Bob, I'm done.
Yes.
Oh, we have to wait a minute.
No, he made a
I'm
lot
ready.
of money.
Oh, okay.
I've got it.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
Bill, sewers and sanitation, none.
Nothing under old.
Finance and litigation, Jason,
New
none.
revenue.
Ordinances,
Actually,
Jeff.
hold on, for
Wait.
that, I'm waiting on the response back from Aiken on the newer listing of people who've not paid their bill.
Okay,
Yeah, there's still issues with that.
There's still a bunch of
Yeah.
issues with that. So once I get the next one, I'll bring it down to council and here's the next listing.
we gotta talk about that too. When do we have
Next
to
year.
send out
Those
for,
are,
bids for the,
That's,
Next year.
that's
That's
next
next
year.
year.
I thought they were
no,
the end of this year.
that's
No,
our second year.
this
So
is
we only
only,
had it for 2 years.
this is only the second year, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Jenna?
All right,
But is there something
God bless you,
that we
Jenna.
can cancel them with a 90-day notice?
What's that?
It can just
Service for Aiken.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Couldn't remember that either.
Oh, that was 90 days before the end of the contract. Yeah.
Which is next September, I think.
It's not 90 days at any given point, Bill.
Okay. I stand corrected.
So if the contract ends like December 31st, you got 90 days prior there.
Because they're starting to get really ticked off at that.
Yeah.
We haven't
Okay.
had this meeting.
Okay.
all right, Jeff.
That weeds down Jimmy Brooks in the alley there. And you stop, make a look left there. Can't see. May need cleaned off.
You're the ordinance guy.
Using-
Did you stop and talk to them?
No, it ain't Jimmy's. It's part of ours. We always did it.
Whose
The
property
borough
is
always did that right there at the
it?
end.
Is it our property?
We got sign there, so it needs weeded out or
Where
weed
is that, Jeff?
whack or whatever. Right by Jimmy Brooks in the alley there.
Whose
On the
property
left-hand
is it?
side when you're coming
So
there.
there were like Brooks and then Hines and then
Well,
Gordon.
it would be, no, it would really be
What's
the
the
lady on the corner. I got her address off my thing.
Talk to her. You're the
Well,
ordinance guy.
there are weeds and
Oh,
they need
he's
to.
talking to
Well,
the
okay.
other.
Somebody needs to get Jeff a badge.
I'm ready to go.
Okay, go home and go to bed.
On West 8th at the
I have the badge.
apartment building. Them hedges there at that stop sign. You can't see people
Coming up 43rd?
Yeah, they need taken out. That's,
And we just talked about that tonight.
Owner?
no.
Said, yeah.
Where is that, Bill?
I'm giving it
You're
to you.
coming up
You're
43rd.
you're the,
You make a left on the west
yeah,
side.
and I give it to you.
That apartment
And
building
you,
right there at the end.
That's how-
Hedges are high.
You are talk to them.
well, that's how William called always did.
Yeah, but
You can find out Jeff, you can't do it without always done. You have to do it every
Chris
night.
Lemon always did. I always told Chris and
Jeff, if you can't get through to them, then you call me. I don't wanna have to go out and talk to everybody all the time.
You can have
You
my
just
stick.
stop and see them. If they don't fix it, call me.
yeah, I always
I'll
do
print
it.
it
All
out
right.
again.
Chris always
Wait,
did.
Jeff, I'm going back on
All
ordinance.
right, who's next?
We're gonna have park.
Janet.
Go off 37th Street and start
Jake
up
already
there.
talked about
Hold
the
up,
tree
hold up a
barn.
minute.
Lou.
He was trying to tell Jeff something.
I'm
Jake
still
already
on with
talked about the
Jeff.
tree barn.
He's done.
Yeah, but I have a couple of
Yeah,
comments.
Go ahead.
Okay, top of Craig, if you come off 37th Street,
Yeah.
up the top on the right-hand side. Who owns that? All that brush and trees and garbage that's up
That one
there.
I don't
It's
know.
wind every time there's a storm. It's
That's
blowing
everybody-
up
that's
all those
everybody,
people's property. And they asked if there's something we could do about it.
That's over by, Oh, that'd be.
Across from Craig.
Yeah, go to the top of Craig
Yeah,
Street.
that's-
Craig Street, yeah, I'm sorry.
Cheryl and, William call it. It's not their place, but I think it's the one before her.
Yeah, the neighbors are all complaining about every time there's a bad storm, all the debris
Nobody
and all their
emails
stuff.
me or not, I mean.
Well, I just found this out.
But yeah,
And then the
Yeah,
other
let's-
thing.
Why he's telling you that.
Let's start doing this at, like, when you see something, give him a call, you stop and you see him, if they don't fix it, then call me.
alright.
And then that way we don't have to discuss all this at the meeting.
Yeah, that's really the way.
Yeah, I'll tell you the rest. I'll see you tomorrow or something. to tell you the
All
rest.
right,
You know what, I don't have.
go ahead, Janet.
All right, we already talked about the trees, Jake already talked about them.
Yep.
And, possible agreement with the new sports complex guy, we have to have a meeting with them,
Oh, yeah, they're open on the 24th.
and I already told you about
That's
my
gonna
park.
be good. That's gonna be good. Them guys they're spending money.
October 24th.
So they take over the parks, they're gonna be taking care of the parks.
Well, whenever you can set
Or
up
the
the meeting,
ball
we'll do
fields.
the meeting.
Okay, so you want me to do it
Yeah,
for
them
you?
seems like pretty good guys down there.
Oh, no, you are not having a meeting without me.
Can you get her the phone number?
I am not going through.
Yeah, I should, I got his number somewhere. I'll get that for
Give me
you.
his
So
number.
who else on parks? You're on parks, I'm on parks, she's on parks.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to get together for that meeting.
yes,
What days work best for you?
any
He
day
says that.
before 7 o'clock.
Have to be a
They don't
week.
give you
It's
vacation.
gotta be a weekend or something.
Of Saturday or a Sunday,
Saturday
I
would
don't
be
know,
better.
which people you.
A Friday would be alright after I'm done.
What time you normally get out?
Work.
Yeah, I was just getting together schedule and just go on the next.
All right, you
part
guys
of the-
can get together on that, decide what that is.
Get the
We're
number.
gonna get the mayor in here right now so we can get home pretty soon.
Okay, let's go, come on, ladies.
Just want to give dates of our trunk or treat at the park, which is the 12th.
The 12th of
October,
Okay.
with the rain date on the 13th.
May I ask you, what shelter are we having it at, 2 or 1?
We are gonna wait and see what the weather's gonna be. Because we thought one,
Well, she needs to know a little ahead of time, so. in
or
case it's-
last year we had it at 2 because of the rain.
Okay, somebody let me
Where the
know.
bridge was that year, that worked out pretty
I
good.
liked it there.
That was good.
That was nice.
You had a nice long parking lot.
Yeah.
There's some order.
I know.
Just
so
plan
they-
on that, and then if it rains, we'll do it in the shelter.
We have the baseball park a lot there, and then we have.
Right.
back
Okay.
outside.
Work with me to help me find.
Well,
Good?
and the Christmas party,
she's done well, I got one thing.
That's
No,
November.
it's fine.
November.
No, it was November, I flipped it.
Yeah.
The Christmas party is set right now for the 14th of December. Pending, they're getting back to me on what's open.
Where's it gonna be?
We're hoping that, the sports complex.
Excuse me, what was the date, Lee?
14th December.
14th, he's gonna get back to me if those are open.
Awesome.
Okay. And they can fit like over 200.
Oh,
Nice.
that's awesome, that building's huge.
Which one's that?
And then they're like,
Behind Nora.
Oh, they're gonna let us get there this one.
They're
I've
gonna
been in
let
there
you
looking for that guy.
All right, let's go on the next
Call
one.
us out.
We
Come
get
on,
his
let's
number.
go.
I got one thing.
Oh, Joe,
You do have?
Joe would like to speak.
Mr. President,
All right, listen up, listen up.
Bob, I got one thing, when she's done, Mayor's done.
Are you done?
She's done.
And listening to Kevin and Bill and everything, one thing caught my interest, and it has absolutely nothing to do with who provides your fire protection. If I heard correctly, you don't have an ordinance that provides and requires that when somebody has a fire insurance payout, that if there's a total loss, that a portion of that is escrowed until the place is cleaned up.
We need that.
Under state law, you can have, but you have to have an ordinance. We don't have an ordinance on that?
Not that I could see.
And again, that doesn't make, it makes no difference.
Big Beaver does that. That's a good idea, because my son bought a house out there. They held on to money until he fixed it up, because they didn't want somebody to
I
leave
know,
a mess.
I mean, years ago, I was involved with some litigation along that Aliquippa. They had the ordinance, that's 10 years ago, okay? So I'll look into it. It was
Yeah,
your
do that.
consent, okay?
We definitely
And
want
that's not
that.
taking any sides, it's nothing to do with who the heck
Right.
puts out a fire, okay? It's just dealing
Right.
with the insurance,
Well,
okay?
that's good.
All right,
to know.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey, Joe.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Joe.
Do you have to go to the budget workshop?
Okay.
Because next Monday.
Yeah, and yeah.
That's okay, I just wanted to say something before the meeting started.
Yeah, well, I have it in there.
The code enforcement report, we did, no, but we did talk to a few people. We got a car moved. We got some people taking care of their grass and stuff. There's still a few that you just can't get them to do it. The Bagster's gone off of, what's that street over here?
43rd Street. Mr. Ryler, yeah.
What was that?
Did you guys ever decide how the hedges across the farm?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were just discussing, you know, because.
Like I said, I drove through there and
That's what he's saying, it doesn't look good. He's saying it doesn't look good.
I have to look through
And
the
that's at 36,
Yeah, that is bad.
27 short.
Yeah, it's
He's
bad.
saying that it's not good, so.
when I come up there, I could see, but the hedges kind of came out and went back in.
I know.
It all
I can
depends
see
on what
because
you're
I'm in a
driving.
truck,
Well, I'm
but
in my car.
Yeah, if you're in a truck.
If you're in a truck, you could see.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had enough that I could get out, and I told you
He
guys.
just told me no. He just told me that it's not good, so that's enough to say.
So should we tell them that
He has to trim them back.
either cut them down or pull them out?
He needs to trim them, just make them skinnier.
Trim them back and trim them down, maybe.
Yeah, he did trim them down last time.
I looked like somebody trimmed them.
They look nice.
They look nice, but he just needs to make them skinnier. He just
Okay.
needs to,
Pull them back a little
He
bit.
needs to put them on a diet.
yeah, so.
Okay, thank you.
All right, need to pay the bills?
Yeah,
Actually, she has something she has to bring up.
Okay,
I have to set a date for the budget workshop.
Yep.
okay.
Okay. I am having surgery on the 15th of October, and I'm gonna be out for a couple weeks. So,
Council's on the 10th. That's the next October council meeting.
but we have to have it, for November. So I would like, if everybody can do it on Monday, the 30th of October.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not in October.
October,
Isn't that what we just did for the meeting?
No, that's the
that's
September.
September.
October's the 28th.
October,
No, wait.
October 30th.
Yeah, Wednesday, October 30th.
October 30th, okay. That's the budget meeting,
Yeah, the budget workshop.
budget.
I have nothing that day. Guys, shh,
Budget meeting.
Budget meeting.
don't make me come over there.
At 6 o'clock,
Okay.
unless you, yeah, because that lets people get home.
October 30th.
Is that okay?
Yeah, October 30th, Wednesday, October 30th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Send out a reminder, please.
Are you gonna be okay after surgery?
I should be, that's 2 weeks,
Hopefully.
hopefully. My knee,
Bob, is everything done,
Right.
whatever they're saying?
I'll put her in a car and wheel her back.
yeah,
You might
get a
be
wheelchair,
driving.
just wheel me down the hill.
Are you
know.
gonna need a knee scooter? 'Cause I
Okay,
have one.
continue.
Okay.
I don't
Get rid of
know.
those.
So for anybody who might know this answer, because I've dug and dug and dug in the zoning, but I can't seem to locate anything that says anything about recreational vehicles in yards, other than no vehicles in yards, period, but for people storing recreational vehicles.
Motorhomes?
Anybody ever seen anything?
No,
No.
I don't,
We've
I mean-
always been allowed to store.
yeah,
We've always done that.
Well, you're not allowed to store them in your
Not in
yard.
your
because
yard.
You're not allowed to have anything in your yards.
Has to be in a driveway.
yeah.
It has to be in the driveway, and according to our ordinances, single dwelling homes only have 2 parking spots.
Maybe
So,
we should change that.
so I found something, and I shared it with Jeff, you know, over from New Brighton's for recreational vehicles, because like, I noticed like Chippewa, they're allowed to have recreational vehicles
Yeah.
if they're on the side of their house, but they have to be up on blocks, you know? So that, you know, blocks, yeah, no block, you know?
It's
I-
no different
I'm
than
just telling you,
towers.
and it says
That
like in
makes
New
sense.
Brighton's
Put a
ordinances,
recreational
you
vehicle
know,
up
because like I was
on
talking
Yeah.
with her and
That's what
Holly,
the code
they were
is.
just saying like, you could have,
We can make our own
Because-
code, can't we?
yeah, so,
You're
no,
not talking about my neighbor, are you?
no,
Okay,
you know,
because
I'm
he's in
not,
his driveway.
I'm not trying to be, you know, like poking at anybody,
Your
but,
other neighbor, she's
But like a lot of
Get the stuff
places,
done.
they have it in their ordinances that
No,
you're only
it's
allowed to
growing
have your
back up.
recreational vehicles out for so
They'll
long
probably
during the
go
summer
back
months
over and
and,
cut
you
it.
know, and even parking in your yard because you might have family come
Her
in or
car hasn't
whatever.
been there
But
for a
at some
while.
point, you have to get it off, you know? I
I
have
see them
not
parking
found
right on the
anything
street.
on ours.
Scary.
And again, how long can you park on the street?
Yeah,
Oh, that's what I said, I've seen them parked on the street.
I know, and it's,
And I don't know if they're legal,
banner.
chief
I
might
see
be,
them
if
right
they're
out on
registered
the
and
street.
legal, if there anything can be done about
As
it.
long as they're
some
in their
places are
parking
after
spot, right?
Labor Day, after camping's done, they have.
Why do they don't have a parking
Well,
spot?
like residential homes can have like parking space like up to like 10 feet, you know, if it's cut out into their front area of their home, you know?
There's nothing there that says you have a parking spot.
Well, not the street, like if they were like kind of, how do you say it, kind of halfway on the street, but halfway in their, like a cutout area of their yard. Yes, yeah. Well,
Yeah, it can't be in the street with it.
Like
It
Matilda,
can't be
like
parked
you
in
go up
the
Matilda,
yard.
you'll see a
Oh,
camper
right.
right there. Yeah.
Are we done now?
No,
Almost.
Yeah.
payment of bills,
You know,
All right,
right fire pushes.
okay, is
so,
that it?
yeah.
Okay. With payment of the bills,
Yeah,
Pay the bills.
ratification of purchases,
yeah.
Yep.
any other business?
Yeah, no question. Are we having a car cruise in the park this weekend?
Yes, we are.
The, yes,
Well,
Is it 12? What's the time on it?
Today's,
2 through 8.
today's the 12th.
Would that
Oh,
be
it's at
Saturday?
12:14.
Huh?
I don't know, what day is it again?
it's Saturday.
Saturday.
Oh, Saturday.
Friday the 13th. So there.
Saturday.
Yeah, tomorrow's
Saturday.
Friday the
Who's in
13th.
charge of
Jackie.
it?
I'm going on
Me.
vacation.
Michelle
I don't
Bryan.
care.
Michelle
Sean
Bryan.
Bryan.
Oh, Brian.
Yeah.
Brian, you guys have a
Carolina,
problem?
Ocean
I'm setting up a little table,
Right, have fun.
Good.
putting out some pamphlets for emergency
Goodbye.
management. I wanted to get from, I didn't want to show up.
Well, as long as it's going to have something to do with,
You know what?
yeah,
It's
safety
for me to
or,
go on vacation.
yeah.
Safety is key.
That's the key thing. I don't care if you hand out the what.
It's not my
You know,
bag.
thank you.
What fire stuff?
We need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make it.
Second, fire stuff.
I so second.
Went out there too.